Oh wait, gamers, you're not supposed to see that. Anyway, go morning and go afternoon and go evening, everyone. Hi. Thank you so very much for joining me today on another Tippa stream on a let's look, a Tuesday? No problem. What's that, brother? There's more problems I had. Wait, no. Anyway, sorry. Immersion. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing super well. Today we are doing our makeup lecture of the spine. Again, this was something that was supposed to be done last week. We're doing it this week. How it's gonna be organized is a little, well, is what it is. There's really no foundation about the spine. The questions are kind of scattered about. So I will try my very best to, how do you call it? Explain it from the foundation or the basics, but I try to like implement some other things that I thought would be like much easier for us. Like I was gonna implement hand tracking, and I did. I actually did it, but guess what? I tried to do it through water though, and what happened was that every time I lifted my hands up in the air, or not air, sorry, reverse. Chow, real smooth. No. But every time I had lifted my hands like to like, I don't know, my chest level, it picked it up as my hands were above my head, and I'm like, oh gamers, this is not gonna work out. So no hand but we'll make do with what we got. If we even have to steal someone's hands, we'll do it. And if I have to stream my own hands, actually, I don't want to do that. No, never mind. Sorry, Cubs. We're gonna borrow someone's hands off the internet, so it's fine. We'll just PNG it up or something. But I hope you guys are doing super well. Let me go see my hellos in order, and then we'll try to get through as much as we can today in order. Yay! My goodness. Hi, Robo. Hi, welcome. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. Hi, friend. Hi. Thank you for being here as well. Let's go. We're going. We're so going. Hi, Rip. Hi. Welcome. Rip, I hope you've been super duper well. I missed your pony stream. The Pony Island? It's not Pony Island, is it? I forget. No, like there's a Pony Island. Wait, no, maybe it is Pony Island. Ooh. The pony sucked. Oh, okay. Then weren't they supposed to come out with like a new game or something like that? What do you call it? Pony Island 2, and I had the voice actor Prodzy. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. The guy who voices Senshi in the English dub of the, how do you call it? Delicious in Dungeon. Maybe I'm confusing the games. But if it sucked, I'm sorry. Hi, Apple. Hi. Welcome on in, Gamer. Welcome. Hi, CG. Ah, Gal. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Hi, Karma. Hi. You got some spine? Wait, some spine? You have to stream this topic. Brother, I am using all my spine, all my courage to talk about something that I'm like, ugh. Don't get me wrong. As I hinted last week that I would be more like enthusiastic about talking this, and I am, but the spine is a little complicated. So, but I guess it's a good opportunity to learn something new, and you know, I break it down as simple as I can. Smiley emoji, so we'll see how it goes. Welcome, and hi, Sunny. Hi. Oh my goodness, Sunny, what the actual hecky? Sunny has redeemed a MSP doodle and says, "Hi, Tips. I'm here from MTV Cribs. What if I was too zoomer to..." Sorry. This is not to call anyone out, but here's a conversation before I finish this really quick. No, let me finish. No, wait, actually, no, because it's a part of the joke. What if I didn't know what MTV Cribs were? I was talking to... I won't name Cubs, but if they pop in, I'm sorry. Please ignore it. They're like, yeah, I'm really, like, I feel like a zoomer. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? They're like, I was talking to, like, a friend group, and they were, like, a little bit older than I am. But they're referring to groups like, Spice Girls, and they didn't know who that was. And then what happens is that we're playing Lady Gaga on Fortnite. Sorry, that sounds so stupid. But you know how they have like the rhythm game in Fortnite now? Oh my gosh, what is it called? I've only played it a handful of times, but it's a good mode if you like Guitar Hero, but online, you know? But how do you say it? We were playing not Poker Face. Were we playing Poker Face? I don't know, Poker Face or Bad Romance. One of those two songs by Lady Gaga. And they were like, yeah, I'm not really familiar with Lady Gaga. And I'm like, what? What were you born in, like 2010? Like, what's happening? What? I got so thrown back. Anyway, sorry, but that just reminded me of that conversation, because I'm like, wait, there are people and Cubs out there who don't know what MTV Cribs are. So I couldn't go ahead with your request. I'm sorry, Sunny, I'm too zoomer. What is that? Anyway, sorry, let me read it out. Sunny says, "Hi, Tips. I'm here from MTV Cribs." Thank you, Gamer. "And I'd like to view your room layout." Gamer, you don't want to do that. I'm sure you would have blinged it out with hidden gems. My room is just a makeshift, like, there's makeshift furniture in here, brothers. It's not the prettiest room. It is a room with a lot of character. It's not the prettiest room. I only have, I think, 4 furnitures and 5, I guess, if you count my chair. I will be more than happy to fulfill your request. Maybe, and I'm debating if I should do it now. Maybe have a little break time. I don't know. I wouldn't mind. Maybe. Let me see how I feel after catching up. Not that I won't do it. I'm gonna do it, but I'm like, oh, maybe I should wait for the end. Because I'm in no rush today, you know? But then I'm like, what if you're not here at the end? Then you won't get to hear my Tippa lore about the room. So, we'll see. I could get through it fast. Anyway, thank you for that Miss May request. I appreciate it. Hi Ricky, hi, welcome. Coffee? I know I'm so sorry. Commander, sorry. I kind of forget when I'm screen sharing. Not really like that, but I was like, oh, time to tab over, and I'm like, oh wait, please, next tab. Yeah, we're good. Hi, welcome. Is it okay if I don't really mind the lecture, Professor Tippa, and just focus on my electrotechnic studies? Gamer, you could do, as I become a smoker. Oh goodness. You could do whatever the heck you want. I have no qualms about anything. Brother, if you even need, I'll clear out the super sweet bot for you. So you can put your task in there, and then you can hold yourself accountable. You could come back. Now, do I have the list visible? No, but if you don't come back here and you don't clear out your task, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be like, oh no, I cleared this out for what? Turned down for what? No worries, good luck with your studies, Galmer. Oh my goodness, my eyes are up here! You should have saw it, it was just so dumb. I even tried to, what is the word? Not collaborate. Calibrate! I tried to calibrate the tracking, but it just was not working. So I'm kind of like, oh damn. Well, we'll figure it out, I promise. Hand tracking getting closer each and every day, brothers. Listen, if I didn't have the dumbest mic arm, I would always be doing hand tracking. And if my skin didn't show through my cardigan from times, you know, I've become less conscious about that. But it looks a little janky with hand tracking, but really it's just my arm mic that's the biggest problem. So I cry every single day. Pony Factory? Oh, Pony Factory. Oh, damn, I'm sorry. Well, thank you so much for the posture check. Thank you. I will squeeze my shoulder blades, and I will make sure I am upright and not the new how do they say it? Hunchback of Notre Dame. No? I never got the pronunciation, you know? Yeah. Didn't know about Spice Girls? Yeah! I'm like, brother, you're inspiring me for karaoke to be like, nah, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. No, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna. But I don't know, I just felt like they're really popular, even in, you know, early 2000s. Anyway. Oh my goodness. No idea what MTV Cribs is? It's probably more cultural than age-related. Do you think so? I don't know, I feel like they got rid of MTV Cribs pretty early, but I'm not really one to talk because I don't really have a good concept of time. Like, I don't know, I realize my memory's deteriorating or something, because I'm like, what did I do last summer? Oh, I was in school. That's all I got. I was like, did I do anything fun? No, I think I was just in school. I mean, technically, I streamed, so technically my summer of last year was documented in some way, somehow. But I was just thinking about spring break for Ryan, and I was just like, oh my goodness. She's like, we should plan something. I'm like, let's do it. And then I'm like, Gamer, what do we do? I was hoping to take like a cheap bus somewhere, but it's not looking too good, Chief. But anyway, we'll figure that out later. Anyway, sorry. Seiji says it's generous to call cribs culture. I guess cribs is a very outdated term for house or home. I don't even know why we called it a crib, because I'm not gonna lie, even baby cribs are not like anything special to write home about, other than like, oh, my baby's safe. My baby too safe. I don't lift my baby enough. I don't hold my baby enough. Now my baby has flat head in the back. There's your fun Bearcat school fact for you, Cubs. Did you know that? As my professor, I joked if you weren't loved as a child, but I'm like, that's so cruel. Don't say that. But what happens is that when babies lay down, you know, babies are so malleable, so moldable, so shapely. But basically, if you had like a really flat head, you know, your head can develop into that because you were laying down a lot. Not that your parents or parent or whoever is taking care of you didn't love you. It's just You're just a very sedentary baby. This is why we have other unique head shapes, like the actual cone heads, because of babies who might have been at the ICU, and some other shape that I'm forgetting. You know, wider, narrower, blah 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 blah. I won't get too into it, but yeah. But yeah. Sunny says it's an American documentary television show of the private homes of celebrities. No, brother, I know that. Please don't write me off. I mean, you can write me off in other ways, but like, I know. I was always like, wow, they live such a lavish lifestyle, especially like the celebrities that have like more than 2 cars. I'm like, brother, you don't need that many. you don't need that many at all. Why do you have all those? I think getting multiple cars is such a waste, but let me not get on that topic, you know? Hi, JB. Hi. Hi, Tippa. Hi, JB. Random question. Do you save your VODs as study notes? Yes, no. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying yes or no. Yes, I do. I upload it onto YouTube. Here's me shilling my own YouTube on my own channel. Wow! But, I don't go back on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think probably listening to my notes again and me explaining it would probably be pretty beneficial. Probably. But it's kind of a one and done deal. It's not as common to be doing these types of streams anymore, with the reviewing of the lecture. And normally when I'm doing it, it's probably like the day before something, so it's really hard to kind of go back in time, you know? And plus, I don't really have that time at work to like listen to my own thing or listen to podcasts, so I cry every single day. But I can look at my notes, but I probably won't re-listen to them. Hi, Caleb. Hi. She's spying on my dorsal until I process? Brother, that's me processing your sentence. What the heck? No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Caleb. Hi, Galmer. Welcome on in. Welcome. Robo says, next you're gonna tell me they didn't know Backstreet Boys or NSYNC either? Brother, I don't know, and I was so tempted to ask, but my response was like, oh, it's okay. Because I can't shame anyone for not knowing certain things, you know what I mean? Because not for anything. I'm not really a cub of culture myself. It was more my siblings who were really into pop culture, and I kind of like, I don't know, I was like a sponge. But they were also pretty prominent, so I don't know. Even if my siblings were there or not, I think I would have picked it up. Oh my goodness. Hi, Capitan. Hi. Welcome on in. Welcome, Gamer. Says, you'd be like, what did I do for last summer? While I'm here, like, what did I have for breaky? Did I have breaky? Oh, Gamer, please go eat if you haven't already. Jaren, hi, welcome, Gamer, welcome. Alright, Cubs, I caught up with chat, so you know what that means. I'm gonna little MS what? Paint redeem break. We didn't start. Brother. Alright, so if you guys are very painfully curious about how my room looks like right now, it's not looking too good. So here it is. Hey! I fixed it. It's okay. Anyway, so here's my room. It's not as spacious as you would think like that, but we have we have a door that leads to a wall. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that. But that's it. So I have a wall directly when you open it. And I have let me put that here. Actually, let me change it up a little bit. So what I have here is that there is a little space because obviously, you know, I'm a average size bearcat and I need to get in here somehow. I have several things here. Like I have one of my paintings that I'm too scared to hang. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. No, I can't show you because it has a nip nop. It's like, oh my goodness. It's one of the Klimt painting. Anyway, it's really pretty. Maybe hold on, let me show you. Let me see if I can show you without the nip nop. But the reason why I don't have it hanged is because it's a pretty big photo. It is the water serpents. Let me see if I can find it. Gosh darn it, no! Bed Bath & Beyond, leave me alone! Alright. Perfect, I can get it just without the nip now. But yeah, it's a really long horizontal painting that I have. And at my last place, I tried to hang it up, but it didn't really quite work out. It kind of fell. Even though I had it quite supported, it still fell. But it's hold on, let me put this a little space here. But it's very pretty. I really like it a lot. I am a huge sucker for anything that's like, I don't know, cute, has patterns. I don't know. Again, I think Elfen Lied, however you want to say the anime from a couple years back, more than a couple, but we don't talk about it, had really inspired me. But I really do like patterns like this. So pretty. But I have that right by the door. And I also have this well, I guess it would be behind it, but the paint smell, I don't know. Anyway, but right behind it is like a little therapy bed or like a massage table. So if any of my friends come over and I'm like, please let me work on you. Please, I need the physical practice. Please, I can't just keep practicing at school alone. I need practice outside of class. Please help me. That's where my table is. But yeah, is the wall behind it from a bathroom? No, actually it's my, it's my washer dryer. My washer and dryer are in the kitchen. Washer, dryer. So no. From here, for whatever reason, I have a door up here, and this leads to the shed. Don't ask me why they decided to do that. I hate them every day for doing that. I don't know why I have a door directly to the shed, but it's an older place. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. Wait, Wait. Did I draw the doors wrong? Is that why you're asking? Nah. Just imagine the doors opening however you want it to be. Don't worry. But I do have to squeeze in and out of my door because behind my door I have like a little hook and it has my bags. I don't know. Anyway, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I made this room pretty cozy. It's fine. Yeah, it's directly inside a shed. Gamer, this house, home, townhome, whatever I live in, it's pretty old. So it's more storage, or I consider it a shed, but like sometimes on a really sunny day, aka if I have my shed door open for whatever reason, I could see the light coming in from my room and I'm just like, am I really that close to the outside? I've asked my landlords about it, but again, I said as long as the bottom was covered, I didn't really care about the rest because the door is quote-unquote closed and is quote-unquote sealed, so it's fine. Anyway, but I have it blocked off. I have it covered. I have, this is where it gets bad. I'm so sorry, Cubs. Okay, so right here, I have some boxes that I covered over with a blanket that Baby Peas will sometimes get into. So if you hear me say, oh my gosh, Baby Peas is biting some boxes, it's because I have some boxes right here that I put a tablecloth over, and it's like a makeshift table where I just store all my plushes on it. Yay. Yay. Right here, I have my little mini desk. Thank you for that, pets. Thank you. Nice. Actually, speaking of dying, one moment. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so please forgive me as I say this, but I have two desks. I have thank you. I have a little tiny desk that was going to how do you say it? Expand my corner desk, because if you guys remember, my corner desk was probably this big, right? It was really tiny. So I'm like, how do I make it into an L-shaped desk, you know? And so I decided to buy this cheaper foldable desk, and I was like, oh wow, it's like Tetris. I've never really played Tetris before, but just to go with the analogy, okay? And it's like, wow, it's a longer table! But now I don't have that desk anymore. So now my desk is, it takes up the entire corner. Oh, I make the desk look so big. I don't mean to, but L-shaped like this. And then this is me. Hold on. Apparently I have to zoom in for me, but this is where I stream. Hi. Hi Seb, hi, welcome on in, welcome. But yeah, I have my computer, or sorry, I have my computer underneath. I don't know if that's really like a degenerate, but it's on like a little cart, I guess, so I could wheel it around. Not that I need to wheel it around, this thing has cables that are connected to these monitors and everything else, so it's fine. But yeah, this is my thing. I have a lamp right here. I have storage right above here that has all my anime stuff. Underneath it is Peas' bed, so every time you see a cat cam, it is actually my webcam staring Peas down. That's hanging off from the lamp. And the rest are just like paperwork. Like I have my calendar here to be like, hey, when do you work? When do you go to school? And I'm like, gamer, I don't want to think about that, but it's here. Drawing is such a superpower. It truly is. I wish. Sunny says, I guess you could call it a feature. Nice. That's one kind of feature. Sorry, let me zoom out really quick. Oh my goodness. Like celebrities have bowling alleys at their basement. You have a direct path to your shed. That and perhaps the boogeyman hiding inside. The issue is just, again, I don't live in anywhere extravagant. Right on the other side is like a little porch area that I can access the shed in. There's no reason to have this door. But it's fine, it's okay. But yeah, this is where I spent like the majority of my time. Hey, hi, hello. Right here is the bed that actually takes up a good chunk. It's fit for a queen. That's me, baby. So I don't have much room. And then I have a little like shelving unit that holds you know, that's a great question. Brother, what's that bed placement? Where else am I supposed to place my bed? Brother, you tell me. I wanted to block the shed door in the middle of the room. It's not the middle of the room. There's a wall here. It's against a wall. I don't have anywhere else to put it because guess what, baby? Sorry, I keep saying that because one, I think I've been saying that, but two, I just ran into some guy who sells real estate in Texas on TikTok, and it's like, that's right, baby. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm reinforcing this. The closet's actually not this big, but this is the closet. This is the bed. This is where I have my plush. This is where I put a printer because printer. Pool setup for stream. Oh, I can't spell. For streaming. I can't spell. Setup, and this is the etc. stuff. Like I have maybe. How did I put a yen in there? Well, anyway, I'm just gonna keep it there. I have like my sewing stuff and whatnot. Yep. That is my room right now. Wait, you have to leave the bed to get out? No! There's room here! There's room here! I can just leave! I just walk! What do you mean? Hi Volta, hi, welcome. I'm not gonna put it in the middle of the room. You know how much times I've like contemplated like my potential layout? Let me actually square it up. I was like, what if I put my computer desk here? And then the bed here against an actual like, well, I don't know. But then I'm like, what if I put it in the middle? And then I'm like, what? I don't have anything to put here. What am I gonna put there? So I just decided on this layout. Is it efficient? No. Is everything in life temporary? Yeah. Is my setup temporary? Yeah. Have I contemplated going to the Books of Faces and getting a drawer off someone off the street? Yeah. But it's my little humble abode. It's okay. Like I said, I only spent a good chunk in this corner. Any windows? Oh yeah. I only have one window. Oh, the closet, by the way, has mirrors, so it's really nice. This is when I was telling you, Cubs, about the how do you say it? That we anyway, this is when I was telling you, Cubs, that when you need like a mirror behind you for exams, as new policy to my university, it's really nice because my closet has like sliding glass doors, and yeah, it's really nice. my light sources are one window and a lamp that's over here. Not a lamp, a ceiling. Oh my gosh, light that's right here. It's not in the middle. It is by my closet. I will never understand why. So every time I stream, there's like a dark cast like over here. And yeah. Where's the toilet? Brother, this is my room. If I had a toilet in my room, I think I would cry. But when I did move out, I actually had luxury where I moved to a 3-bedroom townhome. But, you know, before this inflation and whatnot. No, but sorry, let me be serious. I had moved in with a roommate and she wanted 2 rooms. She wanted her own room to sleep in, like a hobby room. And I'm like, oh, brother, if we're gonna take 2 rooms, it's okay if I take the master bedroom. And she thought about it for a while and I had to like stare her down because I'm like, brother, there's no way I'm taking a smaller room when you already have 2 rooms. You literally have more room than I am. Let me take the master bedroom. I found this place for us to live. Anyway, no, but not the point. In that master bedroom area, how do you say it? There was a bathroom connected to it, so it was actually really nice. So it was like this. It was just a square, and then this was the bathroom, and I used to stream in this little corner. I guess the room was a little bit bigger. So here would be the door. Here's the bathroom. Here's a room. And then it would lead to the hallway with the other rooms in there. And then you would go downstairs because it's a townhome. Oh, and her bathroom was like here or something like that. It was actually pretty nice. It was a very nice setup. I don't wish to live back there again because the walls were very paper thin. But I think that's just townhome living or apartment living in Bearcat Mountain. I feel like that's just the norm, unfortunately. But anyway, so yeah, I have a source of light here. And I have a window. I have one big window right here. So every time I complain about me hearing kids playing in my backyard, it's because I have direct vision. How do you say it? I have my blinds closed most of the time, but it's fine. It's okay. This is the window. Huh? Take out the plush and the printer? No, I don't want access to the shed. And plus I need to put my stuff somewhere. Tippa living in an Outlast crawl space? I'm not! It's fine! It's perfectly fine! I have so much room as one bearcat. Like, it's fine. Fun fact, this looks like a GPU board. Brother, I'm crying. What? No way! But yeah, that is my crib. We call it the CPU board apparently. But yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you MTV Crits for coming to my new place. Always did want to show it off. I don't know what stream I did it in, but how do you say it? I took a moment to show off my my plushes, and that was fun. Am I gonna do it again? No, because I left those plushes on Pisa's bed for a day and I felt I had too many, but we'll do that maybe when I'm feeling a little bit more motivated. Oh my goodness, it's a TPU! BRB crying. That's so cute. Oh my goodness, it was a great room tour. Thank you. But no, thank Sunny for redeeming this. I appreciate it. Thank you, gamer. And thank you for having me draw MS Paint Doodle 317. No, but thanks for the redeem. Like I said, there's really nothing to show in my room. Even if I took pictures. Oh wait, one last thing. I have a wall here, right? As you would imagine, right? Because this is the door, right? And I have a little what is this called? A cork board. I have a little cork board right here. And it has like a little Miku calendar, which apparently I haven't changed since November of 23. Huh? Oh boy! So it's been a while since I looked up there apparently. I have a notice of... I have a notice. Where am I? In what fantasy world am I living in? I have a letter from Big Ham because she's so cute. She sent me a letter and she sent me a charm of her drinking beer. So that was really exciting. I have some other art pieces that I would love to show you, Cubs, if some of these weren't like super con Pacific or super idol Pacific. But I can show you this. Let me see. One moment. Time flies. Oh, brother, it does. I kind of forgot that I moved here in November, so I was doing really good. I was doing really good for a month. Da 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 da. Did I take a picture? I thought I sent it to Teru. I guess I'll just have to take the picture again so I could show you, Cubs. Because it's just so funny. So I don't know if you Cubs have the same tendency. Maybe it was my mama bearcat. But if you have something new, I don't take the plastic out of it, you know? Like, I've had this webcam for a while, and it had like the little plastic wrap on it still, and I never took it out until one of my friends is like, this is annoying me. And I'm like, what? What do you call it? When we had like the remote, I never took out the plastic. And this habit, for whatever reason, has carried on even with some acrylic charms and plushes that I ordered. Like, they're still in plastic bags, and I don't know why. Like, I still appreciate them in the plastic bag, but I'm like, oh yeah, I just there's no reason for me to get rid of it. Ha hee hee ho ho. Oh my goodness. Wait, I think I have to get back. I have to get up because I promise I am a racist, wholesome bearcat, right? But there's this Oyasumi Poon Poon art that I have hanged up on my corkboard, and it has a nip nop, and I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just gonna show you Cubs specifically what I need, but I have to get up really quick. No, wait. I'm back. Not the nip nops, I know, I'm so sorry. I promise those are the only like two quote-unquote nip nop arts that I have. One from an, you know, well, both of them are from an artist. But yes, anyway. Let me send it over and I will show you in just a little bit, okay? So sorry about that. One moment. Okay. Alright, and well that sends. Hi FTW. Hi, back to education? Yeah, I know. That says Tippa has a 2000s error. MTV Cribs person/artist? Brother, what is that supposed to look like? Am I supposed to have like big golden chains? Like I don't Oh my goodness, let me see. Like, do you have a MTV Cribs? Like, what did they look like back then? This went on for 19 seasons? Oh my goodness. Gamer, I don't even know what to look like. I just see this one guy and he's drawn like this. And I feel like it's just a power stance, so maybe I'll just draw that. Oh my goodness. Oh no, Terry wouldn't like that. You have to peel the charms. No, the charms aren't peeled because the charms aren't even out of their bag yet. Oh my goodness. Baggy clothes, jean clothes, camisole. Oh, you're so right. Here, let me show you Cubs this picture. Hopefully it's not humongous. What am I looking at? Not even out of the bag? Not even out of the bag, gamer. Hold on. Gosh darn it. This is so big. You're looking at the Oyasumi Poon Poon art a little bit, that's why. Wait, that's me! It's gonna take forever resizing! Because it didn't want to resize. Didn't wanna... Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Gosh. There you go. So you know it's Oyasumi Poon Poon. That's Teru. That's Teru. Still in her bag. Yay. And so there she is. And the Teru's like, that's so... I remember she was talking about it because she's like, a lot of people who get acrylic charms, they don't peel the sticker off. And I don't. I wait for that sucker to come off. Unless this is in an E-type bag or something or whatever. But I'm like, oh, Tara, you're still in the bag that I got. And she's like, what? Sad wahoo. Anyway, let me give Tara a quick shout out really quick. But anyway. Robo says I had plastic wrap on my Quest 2 controller straps for 2 years until I let my boss borrow it and now it's unwrapped. Isn't that the worst? It's kind of like, brother, you return it and the condition I gave it to you. If it's still wrapped, brother, it's still wrapped. I don't care how much it bothers you because it doesn't bother me. Oh my goodness. It's funny how getting up VTubing looks like for a moment your soul just leaves. I know, that's why I want a cute little animation if I lose tracking. See, I still have my soul if I fall asleep. Z. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'll try to do this. I don't know. Like, hold on. Thank you for this redeem. There's this guy. I could be in a Star Wars. What? Actually, does it say Star Wars? I hope it does. I don't know. It's just such a powerful image. I don't know. I'm gonna get you this. Oh my goodness. How are you portrait? Wait. That's some serious manspreading. He's like, this is how I am in my bathtub. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. I should just put this as art for a little bit. They're gonna be like, anyone comes in here, it's like, what do you mean Tipa's art? What's happening here? Here, one moment. I don't know how I would look in the 2000s. You know what my mama bearcat used to dress me in? Let me see if I could find it. Oh my goodness. I had something like, will it take the picture? Yeah, I had something like this when I was a baby. This was peak fashion, I think maybe when I was like in 6th grade or something. And my mama bearcat tied my bangs. I thought I was so cool. But I was a baby. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I could draw myself in that. That's fine. It's just gonna be all pink. But I'll draw it with the dyed hair and how I used to like dress, I guess. Mean Girl's outfit wearing the Juicy Couture, brother. I was never even. So. No, I think I had long hair, right? Yeah, hold on. God. My hair was really long back when I was a baby, but when I got to a certain point in my life, I'm like, Mama Bearcat. Because my Mama Bearcat had short hair, so I was really confused when I was telling my Mama Bearcat, I really want to cut my hair. And she's like, no, you have beautiful hair. You cannot do it. I'm like, Mom, what? This is a little, I don't know how to say this, like a hypocrite. Oh my gosh. But it's fine. It's okay. But it was really funny because my Mama Bearcat had dyed my hair blonde. Because that was her hair color. That's what she dyed her hair. So I had the purple and the blonde bangs, but it's only the bangs. Oh my goodness. So when anyone new coming in here, this is MTV's Cribs season 20. Brother, we're bringing it back. Hi, welcome on in, welcome. Oh my goodness. Peak fashion? Brother, I feel like changing this to art, but I know I'm not gonna be here forever, but in case I am, it's fine. Anyway, so it's just so funny. My Mom Bearcat's so funny. This whole time period of my life, so funny. Ask me what happened in 6th grade. I'll tell you I don't know, because it goes back to our conversation of like, yeah, I just really don't. Oh my goodness. And you know, the big scrunchies? Oh my goodness. But wait, no, it's anyway. Just imagine my hair. Peak fashion is so peak. It was just so easy to wear, you know? How do I even draw this? I have not drawn like a tracksuit or anything like that. Brother, can I just draw myself as a pink blob? Can I just do that? Because gamer, I don't know. I don't draw usually anything past the bust. But let's see. And then like underneath you have to wear like a tank top, right? Used to be a pink blob too. I think we all kind of were, weren't we? Oh my goodness. Not to invalidate your unique experience as a pink blob. Oh my goodness. Sunny says, you only dyed your bangs blonde and left the rest? Isn't that some sort of main protagonist thing? No, it was my mama bearcat running out of hair dye. She's like, I have a little bit left, and she was... So she's like, oh, I can give you some. You want to dye your bangs? It's like, so you're not like that dedicated? I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, okay, but anyway. It has to be this... Oh, it's so bright. Everything about it is just so bright. But yeah, I just used to wear these tracksuits. My mama bearcat also really, for whatever reason, really loved jean jackets. And I've grown like a hate towards them. Not anymore. They're not bad, but like, like I'm just like, I don't want to wear jean jackets. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Wait, I should be like, what is this? What is this mouth? Anyway. Oh wait, sorry, I was at my powerful when I was apparently, what do you call it? In 6th grade, so we won't draw the band-aid, or maybe we do. Maybe I was never powerful. This is not a downplay to myself, I was just... I don't know. I think this is when I started gaining consciousness in 6th grade. Is that weird? But people gain consciousness normally much sooner. I'm like, oh, I think I remember something. Anyway, Mama Bearcat was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Oh, she's so funny. She actually supported my Yu-Gi-Oh habits when I was like a baby, so that was always fun and exciting because I don't know how to explain it. Like it's so weird. My mama bearcat's normally against a lot of things, but some things that she let me get away with, I was just like very pleasantly surprised with. Huh? Tip a jean jacket outfit would go so hard. Yeah, no, I appreciate it now, but I don't know how to explain it. Even when it wasn't cold to me, my mama bearcat would be like, you need to wear the jean jacket or you're gonna get sick. And I'm like, oh, mama bearcat. Denim everywhere in the 2000s fashion is the only thing I do not enjoy. Brother. The jean jacket with the jeans combo though. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't even know how to draw it, unfortunately. That's so sad. You know, for a doodle I made in like 30 seconds, looking pretty sharp. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't have enough room. I'm dumb. How do you even draw a jean jacket? Gosh darn it, gamers. No! I look like that stupid meme from the One Fear. Do you know? Oh my gosh, Cubs, I have to show you this. If you're not... let me enlighten you with the One Fear meme. Oh no, I can't show you the original, can I? Yeah, I'll show you a meme one because apparently the other one is like, what if they made something silly? Anyway, so there's this comic that was very popular. Maybe it was very like Tumblr or something like that. But it's a teen comics. It's like the guy's just wearing sunglasses and he's like, no fear. But then it was like a fear on his shirt from the guy approaching, and then the shirt magically changed to saying one fear. That's what I'm feeling right now. Blue jacket, but it's a spray. Wait. No, blue jacket, but it has spray can white spots to emulate the stretched jeans. Brother, I will be very honest with you when I say that I've never in my life have worn like ripped jeans or anything like distressed looking like that. That's what I look like right now. Oh my gosh. These are very lanky arms. I promise my arms are not that lanky, but writing for Farwood. No. Jean jackets. Doctors fear apples? Yeah, you know, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Haha, but I'm kind of joke. You worn ripped jeans? Usually got new ones the day after they ripped though? What a gamer. Like, it was definitely in fashion, but you know, there were some people who wore like, I don't know. It was the teeny weeny kind of stuff, you know? Or like the weeby kind of stuff. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Anyway. I don't know why I added this collar thing when I was just going to do this. Jean jackets. I need to shake my arm a billion times over, but it's fine. It's okay. I'll leave it be. But yeah, this is how it'd be. I'd be like, oh yeah, welcome to my crib, y'all. Okay, you're done. Yay! Thank you so much for the MS Paint reading with 318. Great T-pose, thank you. I'm an expert. It's because my name is I got my dice. Tipanya. Oh my goodness. Apple a day keeps 9 out of 10 dentists away? I didn't hear that one. That one's new for me. But yeah. Thank you, CUBS, for the MS Paint readings. It's been a hot minute since I drew on MS Paint. Well, I say that and I drew today for today's thumbnail, but don't let that persuade you. T-pose, yeah. But yeah, it was very fun. So thank you for the redeems. CUBS, I will politely BRB because this ad is going to bonk me in the head regardless of whether I choose to or not. So I will BRB. We'll get this ad playing so we could get it out of the way, and then we could come back to some studying. Yay? Yeah. Thank you for the posture check. Don't worry, I'm gonna get up. Don't worry, no worries. But yeah, I'll politely BRB. Gamers? 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 When I BRB'd to go find Baby P, she was being beautiful, she was sunbathing, and life was good. And then I noticed there was kids outside my side yard. But they were doing the gritties, so I don't know if I could be mad. Anyway, let's get back into it. I hope CUBS had a super short break. Again, apologies with this whole like ad business. Again, it's cool to be in control, but now I feel like, wait, I don't have control. But it's good for anyone coming on in or just, you know, that must be nice to have reminders to take a break every hour, I guess. Those darn kids, I know. You can't be mad for that. I know. I think it's the same kids who are listening to inappropriate music, so I'm still mad, but like, they're doing the gritties, like, across the street, so I don't know. Get off my yard! Brother, out of all the yards you could have picked! Get out! Anyway, did someone say Fortnite? Hi, Liv. Hi. Brother, did you hear about the potential, like, Persona collab with Fortnite? So potentially excited. But anyway, welcome. Alright, gamers. It's been an hour, actually. And so we should get started on our actual education stream so we could just talk through it because we do have, let's see, 50 pages. Well, it might not be 50, but 40 maybe? I don't know. But let's get to it. So this is all in preparation for a verbal quiz that I have tomorrow. Yes, you know midterms are over. There's one thing that is making me shake in my little boots. And it's this one random verbal quiz where we're gonna be, excuse me, partnered up with who knows who. And they're gonna ask us a question at gunpoint. And if I don't answer it, you'll never see me again. So we gotta make sure we practice. It's also really important because some of these concepts are very important to explain to patients because I know this is gonna be really surprising, but everyone has a spine. Everyone has a back. So, yay. So it's really important to get to explain these terms as easy and as simple as we can and to explain that we're very knowledgeable professions and that we should be able to treat. So let's do our best, yeah? Oh, I don't know if it's Persona 5 specifically. I thought they were hinting at Persona 3 Reload with the, well, game that came out, but also Persona 5 collab is not uncommon. I guess a Fortnite now! Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. I guess being in there? Mwah, chef kiss. I wonder who the third person would be, because as she had pointed this out, but it's... Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I swear I heard like a noise and I was just like, huh? What is that? But thankfully it doesn't seem to be anything. And the kids dispersed, so I don't actually, I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, but nothing looks broken, so, or nothing looks hit or anything like that, so I'm just like, oh, it's fine. Causation does not equal correlation, I guess. Anyway. But yeah, let us continue on, okay? But first, let me go fix the Gal economy really quick because gosh darn it, gamers. Yeah, here's an old raffle. Here's a little belated raffle in the meanwhile as well. But yeah, Capadon says, I don't know if I've been called spineless before. I am a scaredy cat. Oh wait, you've been called spineless before. Oh gamer, you have a spine, don't worry. I don't know why we associated spine with courage. Maybe because of like the upright posture and looking more, I guess, powerful, but that's about it, you know? Lem says if it's street, that would be appropriate and such because of guns. Yeah, but Persona 5 can also get away with it, so it's a give or take. I'll be happy with any Persona collab. I'm not one to throw money, but I'll be like, oh yeah! Like the Kool-Aid man. Oh my goodness. Hi Gala, hi, welcome on in, gamer. Welcome, welcome. Also fixing the Gao economy. Oh my goodness. But it's fine. It's okay. Huh? If you don't have a spine, how would you be an upright bear power stance? Exactly! Exactly! Hi Double, hi, Galmer, welcome on in. Hope study is going well, hope work is going well. But if you're off of work, I hope your off day is going well. Welcome, welcome, welcome! Oh my goodness. But yeah, so that's the importance of to the reason to explain spines to people. So how this is going to work out is that this is not an organized list. We're just gonna get a question and I will try to explain the very foundations of it. Crossing fingers. Anyway, so we're gonna start off with our first question, and we're gonna start off with, tell me everything you know about the multifidus. And we've been staring at this for an hour, so you guys should probably know a lot about the multifidus by now, right? Right? But that's okay, that's okay. So, the multifidus is actually a muscle, and it's really interesting. I don't have a really good picture here, but to me, it looks like a little Christmas tree. It goes from the, how do you call it? It originates from the the transverse processes of C4 all the way down to your sacrum. So what the hecky does that mean? So now this is going all the way back to our conversation about the spine. So you know how we have different kind of spines. Well, it's the same one spine, but we section it out. We have a cervical or neck spine. We have a thoracic spine, which is in reference to the ribs. We have a lumbar spine, which is when a lot of people are like, my back hurts. You know, they go there to their lower back, and that's the lumbar spine area. And then we have the sacrum, and your sacrum is, you know, where your tailbone is connected. So what's going to happen is that in the spinous processes, which I guess you can look at here, we'll skip a question. These are, sorry, not spinous. Transverse processes are, well, transverse. They're out to the side, they're sticking out, they're jutting out. And that's where the multifidus is going to originate from. And then it's going to insert itself to the spinous process of the vertebrae above. So it looks like a little Christmas tree, and it kind of has like a zigzag pattern. If I find a better picture, I'm on the way. I'm doing it. Multifidus. I was gonna show you Cubs a video of how it moves. I think that would be fun, but that just didn't happen, unfortunately. Oh my goodness, have a good one. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. And Double, I hope you're having a really smooth break. Thank you for spending your break with me, even if it's just for a moment. Make sure to eat something super duper 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 yummy, okay? Okay! Huh? Capitan says I learned about the multifidus existing. Yeah, look at it! Ta-da! Ta-da! Look how cool it is! I think, again, it looks like a Christmas tree. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the hydrate as well. I appreciate it. Thank you! I will politely hydrate home. Thank you! So, that's multifidus, and the nerve that's innervated in, because so sorry, I didn't even explain this. The OINA. It's just a little fun thing that we use in anatomy to explain the origin of a muscle, where it inserts, what nerve innervates it, so what gives it the power to move. The power! And then what does it actually do? What are the actions of it? So the nerve innervation is going to be the dorsal rami spinal nerves, which unfortunately is just something you have to memorize. It's not as fun as to being like, oh, you know, your triceps, you know, the muscles in the back of your arm, and really the whole back of your hand, the majority of it's innervated by one nerve, which is the radial nerve. Yay! And those are fun because there was actually a recent situation with a friend, and you may know him. He should be streaming, but he doesn't. No, it's not a she. Stares at Niaruko. But they were complaining about issues about their hand. And what happens is that they had like a little hand nerve entrapment, so I was able to like indicate oh, it might be this. Have you considered stretching it in this way? And apparently it's been helping them out, so I'm really, really happy. Dorsal my spinal nerves, not as applicable. I think this is like the only thing that is innervating it, so yay. Anyway, the actions of the multifidus, I promise they'll get funnier. Learning muscles is kind of because it's kind of like I just learned about this muscle. And it's like, no, well, welcome. It gets really important later. There's actually a technique that maybe we'll walk through together and explain how beneficial this could be. Or we could briefly talk about it now, but I'm not familiar with the technique. I just learned it a week ago. But the actions for the multifidus is that it helps you with spinal extension. So if you want to lean back, that's going to be your spinal extension. It helps you with side bending, so you go left and right. And it helps you with rotation. Ta-dang. Ta-dang. That's all the multifidus, baby. And I mean, it's other muscles involved as well, but the multifidus plays a really big part. So one way we can, why the multifidus is important other than all those actions is that, because of how high it inserts, so we're talking about the different spines, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacrum, your C4 is in reference to the fourth vertebrae in your cervical spine or in your neck, and so it attaches pretty high up. So let me give you a really good visual, Cubs. So have you ever felt the back of your neck? No? Do it. So if you feel in the back of your neck, you feel like maybe there's like a little bump or protrusion, and you're like, oh my god, what's that? Well, that's actually a structure from your C7, and that's one way to identify it. So if you go a little bit up, but below your like actual head or skull, before the bump, okay, after the bump of your skull but above the little pointy thing on the back of your neck is somewhere in there is gonna be your C4. So that muscle attaches all the way there to almost your tailbone, which is absolutely insane. So it has so many actions, it's really cool. My professor was saying application of this muscle specifically is that if you ever had the how do you say it, a creak in your neck, so you ever wake up wrong and you're like, oh my gosh, you can't turn, which really sucks, by the way. I had this a few weeks ago and it sucked because you don't realize how much neck movement you actually need, especially when driving. When I was trying to back out on my parking spot, I'm like, oh, I can't do it, my neck hurts. There could be a variety of reasons, but what happens is that this muscle actually gets stuck in its capsule, and you can have this thing called capsular entrapment, which we'll talk about much later. And there's like a really fun technique that you can use to basically get it out of entrapment, and then, you know, having relieving symptoms, and it's really fun. The technique to actually do it onto another person, maybe not as fun. I mean, it's a relatively easy intervention, but you have to get them like really close to you. We'll explain later when we get pictures. I think that's going to be more towards the bottom, but yeah, that is the multifidus. All right, so let me tell you about other really cool things. So this is actually really fun. So tell me everything you know about the transverse ligament of atlas. So your atlas is in reference to the first vertebrae. So the very first part of your spine is considered your C1, cervical vertebrae 1, your C1. C1 is referred to as the atlas because of, please forgive me if I say this wrong, about, you know, the guy who holds the world. It's like, oh yeah, Atlas, the guy who holds the globe. And it's like your what do you call it, your C1 holding your head, which is the world. Your brain is super duper duper important, you know. And right below that is going to be your axis, which is your C2, and the axis is actually going to help you do a lot of those cervical or neck rotations from left to right. No 316 over here, but anyway, what's gonna happen is that this transverse ligament of axis is this horizontal band right here that you can see in yellow in both pictures, actually. Yellow here and yellow here. Realistically, it looks more like this, and it forms along with the superior longitudinal fibers of the cruciate ligament, or sorry, cruciform ligament. So the cruciform ligament is this whole entire like cross area. The name kind of gives it away too, I guess, if you like stare in Latin. Stares at Pacific Cub. So with what's gonna happen is that the transverse ligament, even though it is a part of the cruciform ligament, is super duper duper important. Not only because of how it is, because of its thickness and whatnot, but it actually prevents posterior movement of the axis. So now we're gonna break down what do you call it? A vertebra anatomy. So right here, what's sitting on top is considered your atlas. Again, your C1. But underneath it is going to be your C2. C2 has this bony prominence called the odontoid process. And this bone is really important because this is what's helping us do the, what do you call it? The rotation and whatnot. It's a pivot point, if that's an easier way to understand. So it's really fun, really exciting. Except when you consider the fact of, hey, my spinal cord is somewhere here. Right? So this is like your spinal canal and whatnot, your spinal cord coming out. Oh, what is the only thing between this bony prominence and my spinal cord? The transverse ligament. So why is that important? So what happens is that when you do any backwards movement of your head, whether you're doing like the shaft animation looking back of your head, that ligament plays a super important part, making sure that yes, you are able to do that motion, but within a reasonable limit. Why is that important? Because what happens is that if this wasn't limiting anything, your odontoid process, again, this little thing protruding out right here, it's going to poke into your spinal cord, and that's no good. You've heard, I'm sure you CUBS have heard horrors about spinal cord injuries, but it gets worse because of how high it is up in the spine. We're literally talking about the first or second vertebrae of your spine, C1 to C2. That's really close to your brain, and hear me out. What happens is because it's so high up, and if there's anything pushing it, you're going to end up affecting your respiratory and cardiac centers. What does that mean? That means if your odontoid process pokes a little too hard in your spinal cord, you could stop breathing, or you could stop your heart. And that's kind of the foundation of life and living. You kind of need your heart to beat. You kind of need the oxygen to flow. So it's very, 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 very important that we have this ligament intact. It's really unfortunate that my professor had actually explained the story to me, but she said that she was treating someone, and what had happened was they had sneezed. They had gone to a car accident. They did all the testing and imaging and whatnot, and what had happened was they were like in the pharmacy to pick up some medication because they had got discharged, and they sneezed really hard. So you know, you sneeze, go achoo, and you like bring your head back to try to normalize it. Well, it pressed too hard on their spinal cord, and they ended up dropping dead. That's how serious this is. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that we're getting to test to like rule that out, because in reality, if you have like a spinal cord injury or you have an injury of this ligament, etc., you're only 2 millimeters away from death, basically. And it's like, wow, that's just horrifying. What? Yeah, don't sneeze, don't get into car accidents, make sure someone's checking your ligaments, making sure that you're not gonna stab your spinal cord, and you're gonna be so good. Potatoes, hi, gamer, Calmer, long time no see. Oxygen overrated in my opinion. Same, but I also like living, so I don't know, gamer. You gotta pick or choose your battles. Like, I'm a hater, but I know when to I know when to chill out. Oh my goodness. But yeah, the human body's spooky. It's so spooky. But yeah, tell me everything you need to know about the alar ligaments. So the alar ligaments, is this the only picture I have? I'm sorry, gamers. So this is the odontoid process still right behind here, right? Because look, the cruciform ligament's holding it in. But kind of coming off a little more diagonal is going to be your alar ligament. So your alar is, I hope, Latin for wings. And so they actually look like wings in other pictures, I pinky bear promise you. And what happens is that it's going to keep the dens or the odontoid process in place. So it's not all just about this transverse ligament we were talking about. It's also going to be the alar ligament, baby. And this ligament is going to be super important in what do you call it, in preventing excessive side bending. So side bending left, or sorry, my my right and then side bending right. I don't have that much motion on my other side. Ooh. Ooh. Anyway. The more I learn. Anyway. But yeah, this is really important because the alar ligament is going to prevent excessive side bending and rotation. So when you turn, what happens is that the contralateral... So you have... Let me break it down. The alar ligament you have on both sides, right here and right here. And what's going to happen is that when you turn to the right, the left, the left alar ligament is going to become taut or tight. And it's going to, again, help restrict so there's not that excessive side bending or rotation. We'll talk about this a little bit later. But it's going to help with side bending during rotation, especially when we talk about functional and non-functional side bending. But we'll talk about that later because it gets pretty extensive, and even I think I need to be like, all right, cuz we need to sit down and think about this. Hi, Blueberry. Hi. Welcome, Galmer. Welcome. I'm so sorry. There was one cub who came in who was like, hey, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, have fun. I'll clear out the list for you. But then they never put their task. Dun, dun, dun. That's okay. But welcome and good luck. Alright, gamers. So, tell me everything you need to know about the ligamentum flavum. So, the ligamentum flavum is a gigantic ligament in your spine. With this, it's actually yellow. So if you were to dissect, well, maybe you don't have to dissect. Maybe if you look up pictures of cadavers, actually don't even do that. But if you do look at someone and you happen to see their back, there's this long yellow ligament, and we call this the ligamentum flavum. It's so important, and actually it attaches really high up. So this attaches all the way up to C2, so your second vertebrae. So we could say that's like behind the notch of your skull. So you feel like, you know how you feel a bump at the back of your skull? Now roll down the middle of the neck, and then the first bump you feel in the middle is going to be your C2. So that's going to attach all the way to C2, all the way down to your sacrum. And again, your sacrum is I don't know how to explain it. It's not your tailbone, but I feel like a lot of people refer to it as your tailbone. I feel like I have to bring out the skeleton or something. Let me go ahead and do that. But Blueberry, thank you so much for the self-care checks. Thank you so very much for the hydrate, which I will do that in just a moment. And I will I will hydrate. One moment. Dang, one moment. Thank you. Alright, we're looking at the skeleton model. Finish lower back pain. Gamer, enjoy, have a good lurk. Oh my goodness, there's so many skeletons. This is not an accurate skeleton. This looks really scary, if anything. Hold on, is there another picture? It's not what I want to show you, Cubs. Oh, that one I can't show you either. This one's fine. Hold on. So maybe I should have went with a more posterior view. That's a my bad moment, but the sacrum is this. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 5 lumbar vertebrae. And what happens is that's going to connect here to the sacrum. And the sacrum is basically fused spines. And then at the very end, oh, I don't have a picture of the coccyx. There's your tailbone. Let me see if I can grab an actual picture now. Sacrum? This is a really good picture. Hold on. This is so beautiful. Ta-da! 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 So yeah, look. This is your back. Yes, your back. And here you go. Here's the sacrum. Here's a zoomed in picture right here. Ta-da! And then look, this is your tailbone. Ta-da! This is your coccyx. This is your sacrum. L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, and then we keep counting. Counting on up, okay? I guess I'll keep this picture here to reference, but going back to the ligamentum flavum, it's connecting all the way way up here from C2 connects all the way down to your sacrum. So that's really crazy to think about having a ligament that long, you know? I think when you think of ligaments and you're not that familiar with the back, you think of ligaments like in your ankle, like, I sprained my ankle, you know? So they're like tiny and short, but no, this one is humongous. So this one, the ligamentum flavum, all the way C2 to the sacrum, it prevents excessive forward flexion. And this is actually going to be a common theme that we're going to see in all the other, ligaments that are in the back. Now, we also have ligaments in the front of our spine, but let's talk about the back really quick. So the back ligaments, again, are going to prevent excessive forward flexion. And even when you go forward, you can kind of feel it in your back a little bit about like some kind of tension. And then you could bring yourself back. Ta-da! All the posterior ligaments will prevent excessive flexion, and then we'll have the opposite for all the anterior ligaments or all the front ligaments. All the front ligaments are going to prevent excessive extension, so all that like back bending towards the back. Again, you're allowed to do that movement, but obviously anything in excess is not a good thing. The ligamentum flavum is actually yellow, so that's fun. That's exciting. We love that. And oh, we didn't really talk about this, but we have, again, the other ligaments. We have anterior longitudinal ligament and posterior longitudinal ligament, okay? And so with this, they have like different kind of, I think we'll talk about it later, but maybe I should bring Ms. Payne out. Hold on, this is probably more practical. So we have the ALL, your anterior longitudinal ligament, probably, yeah. And then we have the posterior longitudinal ligament, okay? PLL, and then I guess we have the ligamentum flavum. So for whatever reason, let's say this is the person and they're very happy. The anterior longitudinal ligament, for reference if you've never seen a person before, the anterior longitudinal ligament is going to be narrow on the top for whatever reason, and then it's going to widen out towards the bottom. So very narrow on top, wider on the bottom. The posterior longitudinal ligament is actually going to be wider towards the top, and then as you get down to the sacrum, or towards the sacrum, towards your legs, down, it's going to become narrower, which is really unfortunate because we're going to be talking about herniated disc in just a moment. But a reason why you see a lot of posterior disc herniations is because there's not this ligament to help support it, because what happens is that the herniation will kind of squish out of it. But we'll have a better visual in just a moment. But the reason why I bring this up is because let's see. The ligamentum flavum runs again from C2 all the way down the sacrum, and it actually runs similar to the ALL, or the anterior longitudinal ligament, where it's narrow on the top but wide on the bottom. So this can help out with the herniations, but we'll talk about its actions more in a little bit. I'm going to probably hide this for now so we have this as reference for a later time, okay? But yeah, let's see. We're gonna talk about the disc now. Let's go. Alright, tell me everything you know about the intervertebral disc. So Cubs, did you know all those like C1, C2, all the vertebras? Oh my goodness. We have, let's see. We have 33 of them. Crazy, right? And we have 23 disc. So what the heck are disc? So in the kindest of terms, they're basically a cushion or like a jelly donut in between each of our bones of the spine. These discs are going to be made up of three things. They're going to be made up of the cartilaginous end plate, annulus fibrosus, and the nucleus pulposus. I feel like I'm saying like Harry Potter spells here. But you know about the C4? Explosive. Thank you, video games. Here is what it looks like. Do you cubs have a good view of it? I can also make it bigger. Let me make it bigger just for the sake of everything. So right here, 3 is going to be our cartilaginous, what do you call it? End plate. 4 right here, not 4. This right here, 2, which you can also see in the side view. This is going to be the annulus fibrosus, and number 1 is the nucleus pulposus. So let's explain what each of them does. And then there you go, you still have the same picture. So the end plate, which makes up the intervertebral disc, inter being between, vertebra being, well, the vertebrae. This is going to be a thin layer of hyaline cartilage. From here, what's going to happen is that this is serving as a mechanical barrier for nutrient transport via diffusion into the disc. So you know how they say motion is lotion for the body? Well, we're going to talk about this in just a moment, but the intervertebral discs are avascular, meaning there's no blood supply going into the spine. So how does the spine get its nutrients and whatnot? Well, it's actually through this end plate, and I don't know if we have further details than that at the moment. Not like just in research, but like for my understanding to explain to people. But excuse me. But what happens is that there's a process of diffusion that happens when the spine is moving. So that's why it's really important to get up and moving, even if you're like, I hurt a little bit. It's kind of like, oh, where do you hurt? And it's like, I just want to be in bed all day. It's like, no, wait. We need to get you moving somehow in some way for multiple reasons. 1, spine nutrition. 2, stiffness is definitely a thing that could affect people. So, try to stay active, smile emoji. Anyway, but yeah, we'll talk about that, I think, a little bit more down here. Or it might just be like, oh, it's avascular. And I'm like, whoop, I already talked about that. The annulus fibrosus, however, is this thing right here. So this is the outside of the jelly-filled donut. Would you say it's a dough? And then I guess number 1, the nucleus pulposus, would be like the jelly. So number 2, annulus fibrosus, is just like a... I wouldn't say it's a shell. A thickened cover, I guess. It's mostly made out of type 1 collagen. It's also made out of type 2, but mostly type 1. And type 1 is going to be very responsible for tension. So tension in the motions that we do. So whether we forward bend, backward bend, side bend, any motion like that, these are going to be hard at work, basically making sure that we're able to have that tension without anything breaking. The nucleus pulposus is going to be made out of type 2 collagen, and this is made for compression, and this is going to help us distribute the weight evenly, because imagine our body is working super duper hard always and forever, basically. And what's happening here is that it's making sure that the weight is going to be evenly distributed while you're doing all these tensioning motions, such as, again, forward bending and backward bending. Okay, we talked about... Oh, I guess this is a really strange concept, but apparently the intervertebral disc are considered a ligament. And I'm like, no way? What? But we'll disregard that. I just wanted... That was like a fun fact. I still can't believe it. I'm still in shock. I'm like, maybe I misread that. Maybe it isn't. But anyway. So yeah, okay, there you go. The disc is mostly avascular. Again, it does not receive a steady blood supply. Avascular, no vascular system, no blood getting into that bad boy. But it's going to happen through the process of diffusion, which is going to be occurring when, again, we move the spine forward, backward, side to side. This is not as applicable to just tell people. This is more of a fact. Similar to the muscle, the multifidus that we were talking about earlier, the intervertebral disc are innervated by the sinovertebral vertebral, oh my gosh, just excuse me, nerves from the ventral rami of the great communicant. I cannot apply that anywhere to you, Cubs. I'm so sorry. That was a quiz question I stared at, being like, oh, is it ventral or is the dorsal? Is the ventral or is the dorsal? Is it front? Is it back? Is it front? Is it back? I mean, technically they are. What is a ligament if not non-muscular connective tissue connecting two biddies? I know, but it's so crazy to think about it like that. I feel like it deserves its own category. Ooh, wow, wow, wow. But yeah, going back to ligaments that we drew in MS Paint, the PLL, the posterior longitudinal ligament, and the anterior longitudinal ligament, as you can imagine, because of how long that they are, that they're going to be supporting the IV disc. Alright, here's some fun applicable stuff for you, Cubs. What is radiculopathy? There's multiple ways to say it. This is how I'm going to say it, I apologize. But how do you cause it and how do you treat it? So radiculopathy, it's a condition due to pinching or compression of a nerve that's causing neural signs and symptoms. So you know when someone's like, I have a pinched nerve right here, blah, 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 blah. They're most likely referring to this condition of radiculopathy. Pinched nerves, definitely no joke, because what happens is that these neural signs and symptoms that this is hinting at is when people experience like burning or tingling or like the pins and needles sensation down a certain aspect, because we talked about, or I guess we didn't have the opportunity to talk about it, but if you Cubs are familiar with myotomes and dermatomes, our body, let's see, do I have an appropriate photo? Oh, I don't know, hold on. I'm spooked out, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Dermatome. Alright, so we have this thing in our body called, well, we have two things, myotomes and dermatomes. We're going to be focusing on dermatomes, but it's basically a nerve that innervates a certain area of our body. So we have like T4 at the nipple line, we have so these are highlights. We have like T10 is like the belly button. And the life goes on. For, how do you say it? For myotomes are the same thing, where it's one spinal nerve innervating a certain area, but it's more of the idea of like muscle innervation. So it's like, what is the nerve that innervates the biceps, etc., etc. What does this particular myotome do action wise, and what nerve root is it related to? Like how do you say it? C2 is for cervical flexion, C3 is for a shoulder shrugging or shoulder elevation. I think C4 is for cervical side bending. Like the list goes down basically. But with dermatomes, what's happening with radiculopathy is that people are experiencing, like, let's use for example very common sciatica. So maybe someone has some kind of narrowing right here. Stop. I thought C4 was for controlled demolition. Then brother, what's C6? What's C6? Or C9? Sorry, that's me, my oh my gosh, I can't see the word! Ah! Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I didn't even explain what radiculopathy is. I apologize. Normally it's pinching in some way or manner because maybe there is a disc herniation, and as you see here, the disc is pushing onto the nerve, and that's making it really irritated, so mad that that's why you're having those signs and symptoms run down. It can also be occurring due to some kind of like stenosis, like the hole that the nerve is going through is somehow narrowing, and that's causing some irritation as well. But let's use again sciatica for example. So you see right here, a lot of people who have low back pain, they're like, I have what do you call it? I have like pain and burning and whatever other neuro related sensations, like pins and needles running down the back of my leg. Well, it makes sense because there's a disc herniation or a nerve pinching right here, and then all these symptoms are coming right down. It's following the dermatonal pattern. So, yay! Hi, Linda. Hey, hi. Seems leaving the objective does get on my nerves. Yeah. You know, that's how I won one of my more recent Overwatch games. They got too involved in the battle. They forgot about the point. They forgot about the cart. They forgot. They didn't know, chat. Hi, welcome. But yeah, how do you call it? Radiculopathy is pretty much just that. It's just a narrowing of some way, somehow. It could be due to stenosis, which again is the narrowing of the foramen or the narrowing of the hole that the nerve is coming through. It could be due to bone spurs, so your body decides, hey, LMAO, I'm growing a little extra bone right here, and that's affecting the body. And, or, hopefully not and, but, or it could be a herniated disc, which we again saw a better, well, you can see the picture right here. The disc, the jelly, look at the jelly, look. Oh no, our annulus fibrosus is broken, and oh no, all the jelly or the nucleus pulposus is spilling out. Oh no! And that's kind of what happens. We'll talk more about herniated disc in a moment, but hey, I have someone or a loved one or even myself who's having these symptoms. What do I do? Well, it kind of just depends on the situation of how it happened. So if it's musculoskeletal in nature, we want to treat the issue by widening the foramen to reduce the patient's symptoms, because again, this is only happening because two things are touching and they hate each other. It depends, dies. But how do you say it? But if it's not that, then well, we might have to go see a physician and maybe even consider surgery. But surgery should never be your number one option. I really do believe in conservative treatment first before surgery, you know? But yeah, if it is musculoskeletal in nature, we'd go ahead and stretch it, and really just education on proper posture. Because I don't know how to say this, but basically your body, you're not a baby, but your body will mold to your own habits, which is why some people have like forward head neck posture or rounded shoulders. It's just kind of where we are most of the time, especially maybe a student or maybe someone who's working at the office or at the desk. So it's really important to always like, if you notice something, to fix it. So it's like, oh, I feel myself hunching over, let me cue myself up to at least like squeeze my shoulder blades and keep myself upright a little bit. Alright, so what is the clinical difference between someone with a disc herniation versus foraminal stenosis, or basically hole small? So this is really interesting because there's like an equation that my professor likes to use, and it's actually not math related, but there's not really an easy way to explain it, so like in a more easily digestible manner. It's kind of like, it is what it is, and this is what it is. Sorry, Cubs. So forgive me, please. I'm sorry. As I sip some water too. Hold on. Ba-bang. Okay. Hold on. Non-mathematical equation? Yeah. So she was like, stenosis over disc. And it's like, what? Huh? So, what is an example? Let's say you have nerve involvement at the level of C3 over C4, but it's a stenosis. What nerve root would be involved? Or sorry, let's not use that. Let's use T1 to T2. You have a stenosis at T1, T2. What nerve root would be involved? So what's going to happen in this case is that it's going to be stenosis over disc. So because it's a T1, T2, stenosis, yeah, it's T1, let's go! Stenosis is going to be up here. Because this is, we could put it here, we could say T1, T2. So if it was a disc herniation, but we're looking at the area T1, T2, what nerve level would be involved? It would be T2. And it's kind of like, well, how do we make this up? Like, where are these numbers even coming from? One, the dermal-tonal patterns that we're just talking about, and the mild tone patterns that we didn't talk about as much. Sometimes patients will exhibit symptoms that relate to that certain dermatonal area of their body, or action of their body, so it's very easy to narrow down. Plus, a lot of the patients come with imaging, so kind of makes it easy for us, you know? You're such a good teacher. Thank you, Dice. Oh my goodness. But the reason why I had moved it to T1 to T2 is because this formula of stenosis over disc only works if it's below C7 or the 7th vertebra. 7th cervical vertebra. Anything above it, this is going to be really interesting, but it apparently doesn't matter. Apparently, it will always be the bottom number involved, whether it's a disc herniation or or stenosis. So let's say if we're like, oh, C3 to C4, stenosis, one nerve root's involved, and it's gonna be, oh, it's 4. Oh, okay. Alright, what about herniation? C5, C6. And it's like, oh, it's C6. But what about stenosis C5, C6? C6. For whatever reason, again, it's just the pattern doesn't follow, because what happens, and what I believe, is this is gonna sound crazy. Let's see. Let me see if I can get a picture. So this is the forbidden wiring of your body. Eh? Oh, thank you. Oh, what? Okay, thank you. Oh, did I get it twice? Ugh. Did I get it 3 times? Brother, what's happening? All right, I got it. Anyway, so what happens is that for whatever reason, yes, we have 7 vertebra. 7. I need to find another word for this. Anyway, we have 7 segments of the spine. Ha ha ho ho. But for whatever reason, it's because the C1, I guess, exits so high up. We have C1, C2. Sorry, let me back it up. Here's our spine. Here's the next spine. Here is our C2. No, C1, 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 which is our atlas, which again is holding the head, holding the earth, etc. Here is axis 2 or C2. This is going to be the one with the odontoid process. And remember, it has that transverse ligament. And that transverse ligament, again, is very important to make sure that the odontoids don't go back. Teehee, haha. But then we work our way down. But you see, the spinal nerves, which are in yellow, are creepy on out. The issue is just we have a C8. But it's like, wait, how do we have a C8 nerve if we only have 7 bones? What's happening? And I think that's where the confusion comes from of why we need that formula. So again, if we had like, again, a nerve involvement of like stenosis of C3, C4, what would it be? It would most likely be C4. It's just where the nerves are exiting past the C7 level where it gets a little tricky and why we need to use that equation. But yeah, it does look like that Pokemon. I would not be surprised if that's what it's based off of. But yeah, let me think. Okay. Yes, the spine has bomb wires in it. Yeah, basically. Imagine doing surgery on that thing. Oh. Ticking time bomb, ticking time bomb. That's okay. I don't know, surgery is so scary. I couldn't imagine. And being a surgeon, so stressful. Look, you have to keep talking, nobody explodes manual. Thank you, gamers. Someone's gotta do it. But yeah, let's talk about the difference between these two things, okay? Cut the red wire. Don't cut the red wire. Actually, sometimes you have to cut the red wire. So I was just hearing about an individual who is experiencing some heavy swelling in their legs. And they said that they're having venous insufficiency. Perhaps we talked about the heart the other day, right? You know the difference between an artery and vein, right? 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 I feel like I sound like a pirate. Sorry, not a pirate, a parrot. What's the difference? What's the difference? We're a parrot, let's go. So, if we recall from our cardio, lecture, arteries bring blood away from the heart, the red wire, and well, actually no, wait, blue because it's the oxygen. Anyway, veins will bring blood towards the heart, arteries will bring it away from the heart. And so what's happening with this guy in particular, he's having a venous insufficiency, okay? He's having trouble bringing blood back to his heart. And so what's happening is that his fluid, a lot of fluid is building up in the bottom of his leg. He has edema. He has, yeah, actually a lot of things going on. I was very shocked. But they said that he was a candidate for surgery about taking, what do you call it? Arteries from somewhere else. I want to say maybe it's a saphenous. Wait, no, because saphenous vein? Oh, this is knowledge from like 2 years ago. Please forgive me. I think when they conduct these kind of surgeries, they use a vein that's not as important, but it's really good for this type of surgery. And they were going to reroute his system basically to try to see if they could get rid of that swelling and get his body to be as functioning as normal. So, yay. It's apparently a relatively very common surgery. Very surprised. Basically a hot swap. But doing the surgery for that? Horrendous. I couldn't imagine. Have you heard of lymphedema? Yeah, I have. It could be lymphedema. It could be, but it's not related to lymph nodes. It was his medical history led more into venous insufficiency because he was also diabetic, and I feel like those go hand in hand, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, bringing love back to its own heart is harder. That's a little deep, but yeah, it is. But yeah, let's talk about one more thing, and then let me politely BRB because I chug so much water. And also, I could see the ad harassing me, so I'm like, okay. So, what is the difference between myelopathy and radiculopathy? So, how do we diagnose these two differently? So what's going to happen is that myelopathy is actually a condition that is going to be affecting the spinal cord specifically. So again, the spinal cord, we talked about that with the odontoid processes, yada yada. What's going to happen is that when you have some kind of impact of the spinal cord specifically, it's going to present as an UMN. A UMN is just short for upper motor neuron. I was gonna say lesion, but sorry, it's a syndrome. Old habits die hard. But yeah, what happens with myelopathy is that it's going to be caused by severe compression of the cord. We'll break down the difference between upper and lower motor neurons in just one moment, though. Okay? Hi, NPC. Hi, welcome. This is neuroscience. Oh no, gamer. I mean, it was at one point, but it's okay. We're just having like various topics. There's really no order. I just kind of need to know the spine and how to explain it to someone, you know? So I'm kind of just practicing speaking in front of my cubs, being like, okay, cubs, I could get any one of these questions, but this is not an inclusive list, so we'll see. Welcome on in, welcome. Capiton says, someone I know used to have a leg pump to squeeze fluid from the legs. Yeah, because sometimes I don't know. Really, the best thing to do is to elevate the legs in that case. But sometimes, let's say you're not able to elevate your legs. Like maybe they're still working or something. You can't just like kick your legs back up like that. I mean, you can. It's not really acceptable in the workplace. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah, radiculopathy, which we talked about with the pinchy nerve and whatnot, that's going to happen specifically for spinal nerve. So what's the difference between the spinal cord and the spinal nerve? The spinal nerve is coming off the cord. It's just a different location, basically. And, excuse me, what's going to happen is that they're going to present with LMN, or lower motor neuron symptoms and such. And again, radiculopathy is the pinching of the nerves as they exit or cross the IV disc. So, what is upper? What is lower? What is this? So, Ray, easy, my dear Watson. So upper motor neuron lesions, what happens is that, again, this is affecting the spinal cord, and signs and symptoms related to this, related to myelopathy, is going to be hyperreflexia. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to have that medical hammer and hit someone's knee and they suddenly jerk like really like aggressively, it might be a little hyperreflexive. They display weakness, they have tightness, they're spastic, they have clonus, which is something really interesting. So you can do, I don't remember the name of the test exactly, but you can do a check for clonus if you let me grab a YouTube video. There's a really good video. Hold on. Do I have a YouTube source, please? I do. Oh, but it's not. There you go. Whatever. So, I think this guy has hyperreflexia. He started breaking up the hammer. Yeah, he's using a hammer. So now he's gonna check the reflex of the quadriceps. And that's a little hyperreflexive. He's checking the Achilles tendon reflex. Okay, now this is a clonus. So what he's going to do is that he's going to place the patient and he's going to bring their toes up. He's going to bring it into a dorsiflexion. And what's going to happen is that this patient is going to exhibit clonus, where he's going to have this kind of involuntary shaking. Isn't that crazy? And so that's, if you have something like this, it can be indicative that you have an upper motor neuron lesion. There's something wrong with your spinal cord specifically. Now, as you can imagine, lower motor neuron lesions is something completely opposite. It's flaccid. You're not going to get really any, like, you're hitting that knee, you're trying to get that reflex, you're not getting anything cheap. You're not going to get this clonus. The ankles will probably remain like this, kind of flaccid, just down. Yeah, clonus, pretty crazy. I replay it just in the meanwhile. Hi, Big Cam. Hi, Gummer. Welcome on in. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Let me give you a shout out one moment. Speedrun. Welcome. But yeah, we're just talking about silly little things. But yeah, so that is upper motor neuron lesion and positive Babinski. Gosh darn it. Go. Huh? Purpose? Thank you so very much. Wait. Huh? Yes. Thank you so very much for the follow. Welcome to the Cup Club. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Da Vinci. Huh? Here comes. Let me see if I can show you. Oh no, not Da Vinci. Babinski sign. So this one's a really interesting test too. Let me see. We're gonna, I know it's kind of like, wow, we've been looking at a lot of feet today, but please bear with me. So, Babinski sign is another way to test to see if there's an upper motor neuron lesion. And what you're gonna do is that this person is holding like the other end of a reflex hammer. It's like a dull end, and he's going to basically go into an arcing pattern of how do you say it? From lateral to medial. So, is my mouse present? Can my mouse be present? Okay. He's gonna be basically, I wouldn't say scraping, but scraping in this angular pattern. So whoop. And so normally when you do this test, it's supposed to be that when you do this on anyone, the normal reflex is that the toes curl in. But if you have a positive Babinski sign, what happens is that the toes splay out like that. Yeah. Do you have a normal, or are you just gonna talk? Gosh darn it. I mean, I guess it wouldn't, you could imagine toes curling in. Yeah, so that's not normal, unfortunately, and can be indicative of how do you say it? A upper motor neuron lesion. Here's another test. I think these are all, I feel like I'm missing just one test, but basically these are all the ways to be like, yeah, this could be an upper motor neuron lesion. So this is called the Hoffman's test or Hoffman-Stein or reflex. I personally don't like doing this test, but it truly is what it is. So patient's gonna be seated, you're gonna hold their hand, and you're gonna like flick at their fingertips basically. Let me see if he shows it. I can also move the subtitles. Yeah, you grab their middle finger and you start like flicking at it. And what's supposed to happen is that if you have an upper motor neuron lesion or if you're positive, the index and the thumb start touching. Sorry, I had this test done to me and I just didn't like it. But yeah, positive test, they touch. As you see, it looks normal. His fingers are not going towards each other. How did someone figure this out? No idea. Hand holding? Basically, this is like a cheap way to be like, can I hold your hand? Whoa, male nip-nop? I'm sorry, brother. That's more socially acceptable than women nip-nop. Why is this man shirtless for this test? I could not tell you why he's actually shirtless, but it is what it is. That's not English subtitles, that's Italian. Apparently, whatever. Anyway, the last test, which I did actually forget, this is a new one for me. It is called the inverted supinator sign. This one, not as well versed in, so we could hear this guy talk about it.
Support the
Oh my
patient's forearm
gosh,
with your
it's
arm
so loud.
to ensure that it is relaxed. Slightly pronate the
Sorry,
forearm
cuz I'm learning.
and locate the styloid process of the radius at the attachment of the brachioradialis.
Oh, okay.
Then apply a quick series of taps near the styloid process using a reflex hammer.
When they're talking about the styloid process, by the way, basically put your arm in the same position that that guy is, and it's like that bump on the side of your wrist. That's the styloid process. So he's basically going to be tapping on that bone. Brother, he's tapping!
A positive test will show in rapid finger flexion.
Aww. That music. Let me see. I like the other guy that we saw. He actually usually has good examples. Hold on. Let me just mute this. His name is Ortho Eval Paul. Upper motor neuron lesion, maybe? I mean, we can watch this. Apparently, this is someone with a positive Hoffman sign. But it's like a short, so you have to forgive me. I'm not fixing the I'm not fixing the thing for this. But let's see.
With the upper extremity, we are taking a nice
Oh, this is the little pinch one.
Thumb and index finger. We hold the tip of the middle finger so it's nice and stiff, and then you're going to quickly flick the end of the finger, and we are looking for flexion or opposition of the index and thumb. So take a peek. You just saw it there. Do it again.
Yeah.
That is the sign of an upper motor neuron lesion. It could be cervical spinal stenosis. It could be neurodegenerative disorders, but it's something to kind of keep an eye out on, and it should be used with other diagnostic tests to.
Yeah, you can't use it alone.
So that is your Hoffman sign. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, but yeah, that is ways you could determine that. Lower motor neuron lesions, there's not really special tests. It's just the idea of kind of more looking at it. When you see it, you'll know. But yeah, they're just opposites. Hee ha ha ho ho. Alright, let's take a little baby break because the ad manager is screaming at me right now. And also my bladder. But we'll come back and we'll learn about the quadratus umborum, and then we'll go more into some really actually fun funky stuff where I actually do need those PNG hands. I'm so sad. so sad. I can't believe I have to draw my hands out like in MS Paint or something at this point. But we'll make do with what we have for sure. But I will politely BRB. Da-dang. Wow, big spenders over here. What the actual heck? Gamers, I'm back. I hope you had a really good 3-minute break. Oh my goodness. The Cubs stay winning, except Galo. I don't know if I could fix the economy. The Galo economy. This is your second bailout, right? I'm just letting you Cubs know. There's only so much in the Bank of Tippa, unfortunately. Hold on. See? There's only so much. No! This sucks! Can someone spare me? I don't know. What is that? 4 million? Anyway, the market's gonna crash if we keep printing gals? Brother, the gals are lost. The market's crashing! Oh my goodness. And once again, asking you to gamble responsibly. I'm like, what is that guy? The guy who looks like the one guy from the newest Yakuza series who shoots a guy in a chair. And it's like, please, I'm asking you to gamble responsibly. Oh my goodness. Everyone, withdraw your savings right now. Go, go, go. Don't forget about set points. The Gao economy is fixed. Was it that? You know, that's probably it. Because honestly, I was like, oh, you know, I think it's ad points, and I think it didn't work last time. So I was like, oh, I guess I should go hack myself. The Galflation! No! It's okay, Cubs. We'll worry about the Galflation later. Let's go ahead and do this. So, let's get back into business. And not the business of the Gao economy. If that goes to flames, well, not my responsibility. Hold on. I feel so nasally. That's okay, we'll continue on. But yeah, our next muscle! Da-da! The quadratus lumborum! Da-dang! So we have our O, I, N, A's, our origin, our insertions, our nerves, and our action. So, excuse me. So this muscle is going to be relatively short. It's going to originate off the posterior, so the back of this iliac crest, and it's going to insert itself to the transverse. You see the things protruding out of the spine on the vertebra. Right here, it's going to attach here on the transverse processes all the way up to T12 or 12th rib right here. Ta-da! It's going to be innervated by the ventral rami L1 to L3, and this muscle is really important because it helps with side bending of the trunk, and you can even feel it if you put your hands on your hips. You can feel the contraction. It helps you with side bending and elevation of the pelvis, aka hip hiking. So it's basically like the side bending, but if you wanted to lift your pelvis specifically, it can help out with that. As you can see, this is a bilateral muscle. This is the muscle located on both sides. And it's a really good lumbar stabilizer due to the depth. This is a really deep muscle. Yes, I know you can feel the contraction when you put your hands behind your back, but it's very deep. But yeah, that's really all. Everything else is kind of extra. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be like, it's the touching here, here, and here. Hip hiking, good. Alright, let's talk about the meat and the potatoes. I think that's the same, right? Anyway. So, what is the clinical relationship of AROM, or active range of motion, to arthrokinematics? And why is it important for physical therapists to understand this relationship? So let's break it down to this chart really quick. So what the heck is arthrokinematics? Well, kinematics is movement, and arthro is going to be referring to joint specifically. We're going to be talking about joint motion. While osteokinematics, osteo refers to as bone, but this is just general movement when we talk about like, oh, I flexed my arm, I flexed my trunk, I extended my back, I side bend, I rotate, I do all these things. With arthrokinematics, how we describe it is the rolls, the glides, because of the convexity or the concavity of how these bones are shaped and how they're gliding on one another. Well, again, osteokinematics is just like rotation of head. Not the, what do you call it? The convex occipital condyles are gliding on the concave lateral masses of the atlas. You know, it's not that particular. It's very generalized. So what is the clinical relationship between active range of motion and arthrokinematics? So arthrokinematics is super duper important when it comes to active range, because that motion, we need to allow, oh my gosh, let me just read the line. Understanding that motion occurring at a joint will allow for gross motion to occur. So if you have some issues with, let's say, your facet joints, which we'll go into great detail about, you're not able to move. You know, you might have a stiffness, you might have some capsular tightness, you might have something wrong musculature wise, like a tightness in there, and we need to figure out what's happening and how we can improve that range of motion, or improve that situation to improve your range of motion. Though we cannot physically see or feel the rolls or glides, we understand that in our bones they are gliding and moving for these ways to allow us to have these certain motions such as flexion, extension, etc. If there's any dysfunction at the joints, that can result to a limitation in the active range of motion available. And so from there we need to evaluate to determine what is limiting it, or maybe there's an excess of it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. There are tests to examine the mobility, and once you get to diagnose it, basically you just treat the problem. And once you treat the problem, bam, you got your range of motion back. Are you happy? Oh no, I don't think I'm ready for this one, Cubs. Gosh darn it, why is this not in order? Oh, okay, I'll talk about it. Oh, okay. So I have to explain the difference between and clinical relevance between functional and non-functional side bending in both the cervical and lumbar spine. So I don't have pictures for this, I think. So let me see if I can dig up something really quick, okay? One moment. Or maybe, I don't know, hold on. Excuse me. Okay, I had nothing, Chief. We gotta use our imaginations. Or I crack out the MS Paint. Hold on. MS Paint. Sorry, ligaments. Sorry, everything. Alright. So can I keep it here? Actually. No, wait, actually, hold on. One moment. Oh, I'll keep these together really quick. Alright, so now we have the question here on MS Paint. So, excuse me. Let's talk about one thing at a time. Let's talk about the cervical spine. So the cervical spine, again, is in reference to the neck. I'm so named. Excuse me. So the cervical neck refers to the, cervical spine refers to the neck. And so when we're talking about functional side bending, so side bending is very unique. So every time I have side bending, I was referring to something like this, right? You bring your ear to your shoulder, right? The thing is, with the ear to the shoulder, so let's say we'll bring out several circles or something like that. Actually, hold on. Alright, so that's person number 1, right? And this is person number 2, at least for the cervical spine. Hey, Asa, hi. You know what Erb's palsy is? It sounds familiar. Why, what's up? So, I feel like this is so cursed. You have that? Oh, brother. I hope it's being managed. Alright, so this is gonna seem a little bit weird, so I apologize. So, a lot of the side bending that we do is non-functional side bending. And this is not saying to like shame on anyone's side bending, but side bending like this, or this is what non-functional side bending looks like. You bring your ear to your shoulder. You bring it back up to neutral. You bring it back to the other one. Now this is where the arthrokinematics comes to play, which we didn't get to talk about in detail, so I feel a little weird explaining this, but it's fine. We're gonna try. So, what happens with non-functional side bending for the cervical spine is that there is a thing called coupled motion, and as you would imagine, a couple is 2 things. It could be more, I'm not judging, but in this particular case, there's 2 things. And so what happens is that as we're side bending, the mid-cervical spine, so the mid-cervical is, I believe, C3 to T1, is going to be rotating as we side bend, but the opposite rotation will be happening at C1 to C2. And the purpose of having these opposite motions and the non-functional side bending is so that your head remains straight, because if it wasn't straight, apparently you would look up like this when you side bend. And I mean, that is side bending, but it's like, oh, I want to look in front of me. Oh, no you can't. But because of these opposite rotations in the subcranial and the mid-cervical, we're allowed to go ear to ear. For functional side bending, though, of the cervical spine, it's more of a diagonal. My professor probably puts it best in a way of like, hey, she said old-fashioned phones. I feel like people could still do it with their cell phones. But you know when you're talking to someone on the phone and you have no hands, so you turn your head and you like sandwich the phone between your shoulder and the face, and you're just like, yeah, That's basically that. A better representation of that. Like, the action is there. That is more of a functional side bending in comparison to ear going to shoulder. But what's gonna happen is that it's kind of like your nose. Like if you're looking straight into your armpit. I don't know if it'll mimic it or I'll lose tracking. Heck. That motion is more of a diagonal, but this is what they consider functional side bending. And how to create this motion is that it is rotation from both the mid-cervical and subcranial spine, but they're going in the same direction. Da-dang! Da-dang-dang-dang-dang-dang. Alright, so that is cervical spine spine when it comes to functional and non-functional side bending. It's a little bit weird, but basically keep yourself upright, opposite rotation for non-functional, and functional would be more of a diagonal. The thing with side bending, and I forget what she said specifically, was that the reason why we have this too is because something about the measurements, that I think we use non-functional side bending for measurements, even though it's more functional to do the diagonal one. In a more pragmatic approach, it's much easier to do the non-functional side bending. And again, it's just detecting how far you can go on each side. But yeah, moving on to a lumbar spine. The lumbar spine, it's actually gonna be same side rotation. So this one is a little bit weird. Let me see. Do I have room? Alright, these are the people's bodies, okay? They have stumpy arms and legs, but that truly is what it is in the world. Anyway, so for side bending, this is a little bit interesting because for functional, what happens is that I don't even think I could draw this. Ooh. But when let's say we're picking up like a penny from the ground, what's going to happen is that we're going to I don't know how to describe it. You're gonna have to twist because you have ribs. So anytime you pick up something from the ground, you have like a little bit of slight twisting motion as you bend down. And that same twisting, or this twisting motion, is gonna be what do you call it? Oh my goodness. The same side rotation. So if you're rotating to the right or you're picking up something with your right side, that whole lumbar spine is going to go right with ya. And that's going to allow you to bend a little bit more. When you do the same side rotation as well, what's gonna happen is that oh my goodness. What's gonna happen is that your ribs will get out of the way and that you're able to pick up that penny from the ground without having to squat down. Oh my goodness. You're next? Oh my goodness. You guys are so gamer. Hey Apple, welcome back. Thank you so much for the head pats. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm here like fighting with my inner demons of being like, how do I explain this? What do I do? Alright, but for opposite side bending, what happens is that the motion's very limited because you're just kind of going directly off to the side. And as you could imagine, you don't really have much range with that. If you tried standing up and side bending, you would realize really quick that, my ribs get in the way. But try picking up something from the ground. You go in a slight diagonal to get rid of your ribs, temporarily, and to be able to pick this up. Brother, you bend because you have ribs! You bend because you have ribs! My soul leaving my body? Maybe I shouldn't have done it in blue. My soul. But you're a cup, so you have ears, I guess. Anyway. TLDR. Rotation kind of funky, but basically, if it's non-functional, it'll be opposite rotations. That's basically the summary TLDR. Psycho Mantis? Oh? Not him again. Nice. Please forgive me. Alright, we're scrolling. Bless you, thank you. I'm gonna keep fighting the not sick allegations, but who knows? Who knows? Thank you. Alright. Can we get to arthrokinematics? I don't know. Huh? Not gonna lie, I don't like thinking about my ribs because then I can't stop feeling them. Gamer, I'm so sorry. Alright, don't think about them. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I'm so stuffy. Anyway. Describe how the Atlas moves. Alright, gamers. this won't make as much sense because we're still not the arthrokinematics of it, but it's fine. It's okay. It's fine because we vaguely explained it. Vaguely. So, let's talk about concave and convex again. When we talk about arthrokinematics again, it's the joints.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh? Hi-chan, hi, Gamer! Welcome. Oh my goodness, welcome back, Gamer. Thank you so very much for the read. Welcome. You're playing chill? Brother! Wait, there's a chill category? Oh my goodness, well, I hope you had a ton of fun. I reintroduced myself to ya and your community, but my name is Tipanya. I'm a bearcat VTuber. I do the Gao Nya, and it's very nice to meet you. Welcome in. Can't believe there's a chill cactus. Crazy. Anyway, we're just studying right now, but feel free to hang out, lurk, hydrate, all that cool stuff. But thank you again. Thank you. Oh my goodness. To answer Apple's question, what are you studying? Medicine? Rehab. Oh, emoji. No medicine for me. Sorry, gamers. I'm not that like big brain. not for anything. Medicine is right. I don't know. It's interesting. Being a doctor sounds cool. The work on it? No, thank you. This guy says I was reading MLP infection AUs. I hope you're having a ton of fun with that. I only got one TikTok of MLP infection AUs, and I thought the designs were really cool. I also started getting SpongeBob ones, but then I was like, okay, gamers, alright. Let's switch the meta real quick. But there's an artist that was on my Twitter feed as well, and I think it must have been the same artist on TikTok. And I was like, oh, this is such a fun concept of like, oh no, SpongeBob and Patrick are like morphed together, and Sandy and Squidward are trying their best to like, get them separated and get them back to normal and regain their life before the zombie apocalypse. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, Galmer. Big kiss I have me. Yep says you don't need to be smart for medicine, trust me. Gamer, I didn't want to go through that stress, but brother, with the time that I've already put into this career, I could have been a doctor probably. If I gave it a few more years, I would be like, oh yeah. Of the AUs you already read? I'll keep that in mind. I haven't really gotten to AUs, unfortunately. Like, reading them wise. Not because I hate reading, I don't know. I never picked up fan fiction reading as a hobby, unfortunately. And I don't really have the time anymore, gamer. I'm sorry. But if you're putting a podcast style, gamer, you got my vote. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's get back into everything and anything, okay? Ta-dang! Ta-dang! Alright. So with that, so we're talking about arthrokinematics. So arthrokinematics is about the joints gliding or moving with one another. And when we're talking about arthrokinematics, we're talking about the convexity and also the concavity of stuff. So what's going to happen here is that we have the convexity of the occiput or the occipital condyles right here, and they're going into a concave lateral mass of the C1 or the atlas. What's going to happen is that the atlas is going to move in the same direction as the occiput. So really, the zoomed in picture means nothing. It all really means for me to just tell you this. Hey, when you forward bend and your head goes forward, your atlas will also go forward. You backwards bend? Yeah, your atlas is also gonna go back because your occiput is going back. Side bending right? Oh brother, guess what's going? The same direction. So that's really all you need to know. I think the simplest way to put it is that the atlas, again C1, moves in the same direction as the occiput, and the occiput acts like a car, and the atlas gets driven around as a passenger, you know? Friends with detriments? Oh no. Oh my goodness. Hi Ryan, hi, howdy. Welcome on in, Galmer. Welcome into education, where I talk about my notes and hope that it sticks. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Cubs, we've been talking about forward head posture for a little bit, so let's talk about it now. So the atlas, which again is the C1 right up here, describe the position of the atlas or C1 with forward head posture. So we were saying already that the occiput basically drove the atlas around, right? So shouldn't it be the same here? It's a little bit weird. But at the end of the day, it actually moves opposite. It's a little bit weird in this situation. Even the movement is flexion and extension. And what happens is that with the extension, so the extension going back, the atlas is going to follow the occiput. Or maybe it's the same. I know I started this one for a reason, but I was like, oh, I'll go back in notes. Guys, we'll get back to this later. We'll get back to it later. We have stars here. I can't miss it. Alright, let's talk about the fun stuff. Now this chart looks super duper 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 overwhelming. But guess what, Cubs? Guess what? I'm gonna bring out my PNG hands and life is going to be so good. Or maybe I'll just bring out MS Paint. Alright, Cubs. Oh, this is gonna be so silly. Oh, I don't know about this, Chief. The hands. Maybe if I just put my hand over MS Paint, you think that would work? Alright, Cubs, don't judge. I'm gonna do it. Hi, Chewy. Hi. Welcome in, Galmer. Welcome. Alright. It's a pretty good hand. Alright, so we'll put this here. And what we'll do, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Seamless? It's so seamless. We'll crop it out a little bit. Maybe this one won't work as much for the first one, but we'll see if I figure this out, okay? Hand. Hi, Trey Gamer. Hold on, let me give you a shout out. My brain is not here. My brain is gone. So unfortunate. Wait. Oh, actually, well. Here. Seamless, no seams? Yeah, so seamless. Alright, transform, reset. I don't know if it's... Can I chroma key white? Can I make this transparent? Let's figure this out together, Cubs, okay? Okay. Okay. It looks like you can't do that. That's fine. That's okay. We're not doing that. So, we're gonna have this hand, and we're gonna have this hand, and we're just gonna flip them. It's so easy. Ta-da! Accurate depiction of my hands. So, what happens with the spine is that we have these things called facet joints, right? And the facet joints, these particular joints on the spine are gonna be what's moving and grooving and blah blah blah. The only issue is that well brothers, the only issue really is that they all are kind of orientated depending on where it is. So let's make these a little... Oh, this is a group. Get smaller? Okay. So let's talk about the subcranial. Actually, let's not talk about the subcranial. Let's talk about the mid-cervical. So the mid-cervical spine, which is going anywhere from our axis, our C2, all the way down to our T1, our first thoracic vertebra, or the first like rib area, this is going to be angled at a 45-degree angle. So if this is 90 and this is 0, 45. I can only hope and pray the math is right. So what happens with this 45-degree angle, we have to figure out what motions we're doing. So what happens with forward bending? How do the joints go? So as you would imagine, the joints of the mid-cervical spine when we're forward bending our neck. So we're going like this. Forward bending. It's going to go up and forward. That makes sense, right? So if we go backwards, it's the opposite. Back, bilateral, back and down. So easy. Up and forward, down and back. Up and forward, down and back. Alright, what about side bending right? Alright, Cubs, this is where it's gonna get tricky. Maybe I should start naming these hands. Hold on. Oh, I named this one right. Right. Alright, no, they're both named right! Ah! Anyway, not the point. The point is that, with right side bending, now this is gonna get a little bit tricky. So when you side bend to the right, and you can also replicate this with your two hands in front of you, I'm gonna put this, yeah, let's say we side bend to the right. So as we side bend to the right, what happens is that on our left side, yes, this left, goes up and forward, while the bottom one goes down and back. It's a contralateral movement because of this right side bending. That's going to be the arthrokinematics. So if forward bending is bilateral up and forward, and backward bending is bilateral down and back, right side bending is going to be like the opposite of each other. So it's ipsilateral, or same side down, because even you could feel that. You could feel the facets pushing down on each other, and we have this like gapping or opening of the left, which is going up and forward. The same thing is going to happen with left side bending. So what's going to happen with this is that we're bending to the left. Okay, so this is going down and back, and then our opposite side is going up and forward. It's a little weird. I'm sorry, Cubs. Thank you, Lena, for the head pat. Thank you. For rotation, oh, it's gonna be so weird. I feel like I have to put it on a 3D plane, and I just don't have the technology for that quite yet. Sorry, you know, I should have put it in this way, because this was the 45-degree angle. I'm sorry. When you side bend to the right, by the way, down and back, up and forward. That's how the facets are gonna move. Opposite. All right, I side bend to the left now. Side bending to the left is what do you call it? Down and back on the left, and then up and forward with the right. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about rotation. So this is gonna be wacky. Can I do it? It's too 3D. I don't think I can. I'm so sorry, Cubs. Here, we'll bring the hands together. Alright. The upper thoracic is actually going to move like the mid-cervical, so everything that I've just explained, whether it's clear as mud or not, just know that they are going to move similar to each other. The only difference between them, other than like, oh, you're not mid-cervical anymore, is that instead of 45 degrees, it's going to be 60 degrees, okay? So, the mid-thoracic and the lumbar move pretty similar. And guess what? The hands are already at 90 degrees. Brother, say no more. So when we go tie our shoes and we forward bend, unless you're a cool cub and you don't wear shoelaces anymore, that's the style nowadays. What's gonna happen here is that when you forward bend, the facets are going to bilaterally glide up, which makes sense. Forward bend, up. Backward bend, we're gonna be gliding on down. So it's not up and forward because we're not at that 45-degree angle anymore, okay? We're at 90 degrees. We're like, if you're doing this with your hands as well, your hands are like flat against the wall kind of thing, you know? Alright. Ooh. Side bending is kind of the same too. So if we side bend to the right, what's going to happen is that our right side we're going down, and then our left side is going up. And then when we side bend to the left, alright, we're side bending to the left. Uh-oh, we're crushing the left facet. We're crushing the left facet. And then we feel the right one go up. Again, this is probably much easier in a spinal model, but my professor was very cute in using the hands as like, be the facet. So you gotta orientate yourself and do this and do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I got you. For the rotation, this one's really interesting. Let me see if I can move this out to the side really quick. So if we rotate to the right, what's going to happen is that we turn over to the right. Goodbye. Stay here. Stay here. So when we rotate to the right, a gaps? Gosh, how do I explain this on a 2D plane? What if there's a picture? Hold on. Okay, maybe, just maybe. So when you do a rotation, what's going to happen, like this would be, oh, what rotation would this be? Would it be right rotation? Oh goodness gracious, sorry Cubs. Yeah, okay. So the best visualization other than this is putting your hands against the wall and rotating. So if I said this was rotating to the left, what happens is that the right side, which is even on here, gets stuck on the wall, and as we rotate, we notice our left hand leaves the wall. That left wall leaving the left hand leaving the wall represents gapping, and that's what happens with rotation. Our facet joints gap, and they need to gap because that's going to allow us again to do that active range of motion that we were talking about earlier. I don't think there's that much to it, but for the longest time, and when I mean the longest time, I definitely meant, how do you say it? Like probably the first month, I was really confused about arthrokinematics. I was like, I don't get it. But it's the idea that if you group them together, keep in mind about the degrees of orientation, like lumbar being 90, mid-thoracic being 70 to 90, or you could just say it's 90. Upper thoracic being 60. Whoops, what did I do? Ooh. And then mid cervical being 45. You should be good to go. Alright, this goes into all this. No. Cubs, give me one moment. It's not even me being. This is just literally a question I had. I don't know. I had office hours with her yesterday, and I just felt so shy because she's actually out of campus right now, and she was definitely at a restaurant eating dinner. That's why she moved it back. But she was with like my other like professors, and I'm like, I have fun. Have fun. Don't worry about me. If I don't get a question, that's on me. I'm slacking. I did ask a question at least, so that was fine, but I wanted to ask her at least like a few more, but I like felt bad, so I was like, let me grab the spine model because I meant to get more clarification on this question. It isn't, hold on. Okay, so it isn't like hard or anything like that, but it just, I don't know, it just sucks. So let's see. Let me double check something really quick. Casually brings out a spine, brother. If you could see what I'm holding now, in my very dark room. Oh my goodness. Will it be like that? Who knows? Okay, so I think you showed on cam before. I had the library screaming at me, spamming me in my Outlook account, being like, you took this out. You need to return it, or you need to renew it, and I haven't done anything. I'm just like, guys, I'm a flex student. I'm gonna borrow this for the whole semester. I hope you know. And they're like, no, give it back. We have 20 more. I'm like, oh my goodness. Tip has a spine like Sub-Zero fatality. Honestly, I do. I really do. If I could show you Cubs, hold on. Let me. It looks so ominous. Sorry, gamers. Alright. What? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have to crop out everything. Ugh. 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 So here's your spine. You should grease those wheel bearings. I really should. So with this, it's saying describe the movement of a normal healthy disc with forward and backward bending in the spine. I have been having some weird issues with that because give it back. No. So it's saying that let's actually read it out before I pop up this model. So with a normal healthy disc, it's saying that the anterior or the front portion will compress and the anterior portion will bulge, increasing pressure at the anterior portion, and that fluids of the nucleus in the disc will follow a high to low gradient and result in movement posteriorly. Maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I just read like, oh, this is normal. Oh, because I'm like moving these and I'm like, what happens? What happens? I'm back? I'm forward. Yeah, I mean, it does squeeze anterior. Like, what else am I supposed to see? No. You cubs still have your spine, okay? This is just another cub. For now. It's just so weird to see it. And I wish I could show you cubs the step bones a little bit easier, but this is your spine. Look at those spinous processes. Wow, amazing. Look at your transverse processes. Wow, amazing. Look at the nerves. Wow, amazing. Ugh. So hefty. So hefty. Oh my goodness. Having a spine sucks. But yeah, okay, maybe I just misread this, you know? Maybe I was a hater for no reason. It makes sense that if you bend forward, that the spine will compress anteriorly. It's like a wedge, you know? What happened to them? We don't talk about it. Hold on, let me drop the spine off. Sorry, spine. Sorry. I wonder if Peace would ever chew on that? She hasn't yet. Don't jinx it though. So, anterior portion. Fluids would move posteriorly. Okay, so let's determine what happens with an abnormal disc then, okay? So for the abnormal disc... For forward and backward bending? Oh, okay. We'll find a good picture for this one. Or I'll scroll up to the other picture that had the herniated disc. But what happens is that when you have a tear, and again, recall that the IV, the intervertebral disc, is made out of, again, that jelly donut. You have the annulus fibrosus, which is the fiber that's surrounding it, and the nucleus pulposus inside. What's going to happen is that it's going to tear, and let's just grab the picture really quick before I completely... And bring it back down. Bringing it back down. Bringing it back down. Oh. Can I make it smaller? There you go. Hi, Atomic. Hi. Hey, Tip. How goes back break learning? Oh, back break learning. I'm like, what? Huh? Back break learning. Pretty okay. Pretty fine. Pretty, like, I feel like I'm, like, nervous about something, and I just needed to get it out of the way. So, you know, the usual. I hope you're well. Hi, Atomic. Hi. Welcome. Alright. So this is a disc that's bulging, and look, it's pressing onto your spinal nerves. And look, here's the herniation as well. But either way, there's something that's happening that, again, it's not keeping contained. So, Following a tear may follow oh my gosh. Following a tear, what's going to happen is that the nucleus pulposus will follow the path of least resistance versus the pressure gradient, because we talked about how in passive diffusion, we go from a high to low. Same thing with our intervertebral disc. So what happens is that the disc, when we go anterior or posterior, whether we're doing the forward bending or the backward bending, it's going to go to an area of least resistance. So, hey, if I'm going back, and that's where the disc is, well, all that pressure is being placed in the back, so I'll stay in the front. And it's like, okay, but when I forward bend, oh, there's already a hole or a tear in the back? Oh, brother, I'm going to start leaking out, basically. And that's how it kind of works when it comes to a herniated disc or bulging disc. There's ways to treat this, and we'll talk about the different ways of how it would be more beneficial, of why backwards bending is really why backwards bending is super cool and super helpful, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. What happens with these abnormal or an unhealthy discs when it comes to either a bulging disc or a herniated disc is that the how do you say it? That a lot of these herniations tend to be posterior lateral, or the bulging. You see how this is kind of off to the side? Lateral means to the side. Posterior refers to the back, so now it's kind of in a nice between of the posterior medial or posterior lateral. Ba-bang. You don't really get herniations in the front. I don't really know what the logic was behind that. But yeah, let's politely move on, okay? So, why do we believe backward bending can relieve or centralize leg pain in the case of a disc herniation? So, we saw the disc herniation right here. Huh? Atomic says, here's hope. Here's the hope of feeling less nervous after then. Also, your stream seems to be going through a few frames right now. Yeah, my stream could go somewhere. I saw it. My stream is chugging. This is where I break out the crying emote. It's a roller coaster right now. But I'll continue until OBS kicks. I was gonna write kill me. Me off. AKA disconnect. I wonder if there's a pattern. I feel like my internet normally chugs around this time. Doesn't that suck? That just means I have to speed through it then. Alright. How much do we have? 68? $80. 80. We have about 12 more pages, so I'm gonna try to chug it through, but I don't know, Chief. I'm staying in the red, and it's spooking me out. It's really spooky. Ooh. Anyway, so this is asking, why do we believe backwards bending can help? Okay, so there's actually several reasons. I believe there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So one of the reasons of the benefits of backwards bending when you have a herniated disc is gait control theory. So gait control theory is the concept of pain and such. So let me just go ahead and read through it, even if we're in the red. I'm so sorry. So gait theory control with repetitive motion, there's going to be firing of large fibers per proprioceptors. The proprioceptors are going to be, again, proprioceptors, proprioception, our sense of where we are in space, etc. So with repetitive motions, the firing of large fibers per proprioceptors are going to block onward transmissions of nociceptors, which are going to be pain receptors, which cause the centralization of pain. That, unfortunately, is just something to memorize. I'm not sure how to like further explain that other than to be like, oh, this, you know? The second reason of why backwards bending may relieve pain is that it can elevate the water contents of the disc. So what's going to happen is that there's repetitive motion, or there was a study showed that with repetitive motions on a T2 with MRI, I don't know if they're referring to T2 as thoracic tube, or they're referring to it as like T2 like No, they must be referring to it as like the type of imaging. I can only hope and pray. But that T2 shows like the liquid as like a very bright light, I believe. And so it's very easy to visualize. So yeah, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah. With more backward bending, you actually elevate the water content of the disc, and it lessens the irritability of a disc because it's peripheral and invading nociceptors, so it blocks again more of that pain. Also, may have to just ask her about this because it might be going back to the content that we were talking about earlier with the hyaline cartilage, the cartilaginous end plate of the intervertebral disc. And again, that movement's gonna help bring that nutrition diffusion, and it should be good, right? Sorry, now I'm panicking. I'm like, oh, I didn't disconnect them in red limbo, heck. Anyway. So 3, mobilization of the facet joints. So even in my poor example with the hands, that was to demonstrate the, again, gliding, the arthrokinematics of the facet joints. And what's going to happen with the backward bending is that we're going to help mobilize that. If we have repetitive motion, that's going to mobilize that and simulate the mechanoreceptors, which are going to be blocking, again, those nociceptors, the pain receptors from traveling to the brain. So, no, it's okay? Huh? Get me out of red, heck, it's not okay. It's not okay. Guys, it's buffering so much. Let me see. Ah! Alright. But it's okay. I'll be kicking it until OBS says haha, never mind. But I do want to get through... Let's see. Before I... I want to get through 3 things before I die, please. Alright. Now that I don't have this, and I might disconnect, but let's do a little bit of active recall. We talked about 3 things, right, so far for the backwards bending. So the first one again was going to be the gate control theory. The second one was going to be bringing more water in or something like that. And the third one was the mobilization of the facet joints, right? Let's see. Yeah! Yay! Anyway, so the fourth one is going to be promoting circulation. That's going to relieve the irritability. 5, relieve the fear of movement. You would not believe when someone gets hurt, they're like, I don't want to move in that way anymore. And we know if we don't move, we get stiff and blah, 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 blah. So backward bending, when they realize, oh, this actually doesn't hurt and I can actually do this motion and it's not going to make anything worse, it helps promote a much more functional recovery. For number 6, the neural tension is reduced. That's just kind of it, just the neural tensioning of like the nerves and such. And last one, the protruded nucleus pulposus begins to shrink. So that jelly-filled donut center that we were talking about earlier, what's gonna happen is that it goes to the area of least resistance, correct? So what happens is that it leaks out and it gets into water and it kind of grows and it kind of just stays to where it is. Well, backwards bending, if we're kind of like, no, you can't go there, you're going more into your, you're doing this, you're doing that, what's going to happen is that it's going to help slacken, that backward bending is going to help slacken the quada equina, which is just the tail end of the spinal cord. And I believe the spinal cord ends L2, L3, if not L2, L3? Question mark? Oh boy. Either way, the spinal cord is really pretty in a sense that the very end, there's just a bunch of like nerves, and a lot of people would compare that to a horse tail basically, hence the quada equina. But yeah, over time, the disc protrusion is going to lose proteoglycans. It's stable again. It is. We're back. We're back. Ooh, we're just gonna go over our 3 things and run. Okay. But yeah, slackening the quad equine over time loses proteoglycans, thus losing the ability to track water, so it shrinks. And if it shrinks, it gets back to its normal size because it got kind of inflated by leaking out. And life is good again. Yay, you fixed your disc herniation by some backwards bending. Let's go. It's amazing how the human body works. So yeah, let's talk about the 7 things again, okay? Number 1. Hold on. Nice. Number 1, gate control theory. Number 2, elevate more water content. Number 3, mobilization of the facet joints. Number 4, relieves fear of movement. I feel like there's something else in there. Oh my goodness. Number 5, I don't remember. Okay, I have to stare at this more. Oh, promote circulation. Okay, I knew I was missing it. As soon as I said fear of movement, I'm like, there's something between that. Neurotension, and then it begins to shrink. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Bless this bearcat, thank you. I need all the blessings I can get. Alright, speed running. Alright, I think this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So, what is the normal and abnormal characteristics of active range of motion? So, when we're moving about, doing our own thing willingly, normal active range of motion is that we have a smooth movement regardless of the speed. There's an adequate relation of the antagonist muscles. So we have antagonist and agonist muscles kind of working together to make sure that we're getting a good relationship to help them move the way that they need to move. The range is full according to the body type, so it doesn't matter what kind of muscle type you have, whether you're on one end of the spectrum or not. It should be a full range of motion. It doesn't matter the shape. The movement should be pain-free. No way in heck any movement that you're doing should ever hurt you. If not, that is not normal. The muscles are of normal strength, and this is considered, I believe, like 4 out of 5 or higher on the MMT, the muscle manual scale. And the passive range of motion should be greater than the active range of motion. So the passive range of motion is when someone or a therapist does like move you. So like active range of motion, yeah, you can bring your hands over your head, but did you know if I passively move you, maybe, just maybe, you have enough flexibility and, I don't know, good range where it's like, oh, you can touch your other hand, look at that, that's so cool, so wacky, haha, ho ho. Right, but for abnormal movement, well, obviously it's going to be like the opposite of these. So you have a limited range, you're unwilling to move, and this could be a variety of things, but a lot of time these things end up being a little bit more mental. Pain during or at end range. Pain is never really normal. We shouldn't get rid of pain because your body is telling you like, hey, this is hacked up, there's something wrong. So you should pay attention to your body. But it's not normal to have this pain. I know a lot of people are like, oh, no pain, no gain when they exercise, but like, no, don't do that. Maybe you have a painful arc. So if I say to bring your hands over your shoulder, or sorry, bring your arms over your head. I forgot the amount of degrees. I want to say it's like 120 or something like that. But when you get to like 120 degrees, you might start having a painful arc because of how our bones glide or something like that. It's like the scapular, I'm missing a word, scapular glenoid humeral rhythm or something like that. That's like biomechanics. That's like 4 semesters ago. Please forgive me, I don't remember. But yeah, painful arc basically when you bring your arms overhead. Compensatory or trick movement. So sometimes people are unable to move the way that they want to. So sometimes they will do these wacky tricks and be like, oh, but look, I can move. Oh yeah, I can't really extend my knee, but if I kick it out with my hip, I could get my knee extended. And it's like, sure. And the last one, and that's the thing I really would like to talk about today, is the signs of instability. No, wait, there's still 2 more things I have to talk about. Oh my gosh. But let's skip over the signs of instability, okay? This area is not as pretty, so I apologize. But instability, signs that you have instability in your joints, in your muscles, in your body is that you have poor posture with pain that usually worsens at the end of the day. Like, don't get me wrong, people do have like a hard time at work, right? It's like, yeah, I had a busy day. No, completely fair. But some people who may not even work, they're just like, yeah, my little hunchback of Notre Dame or Notre Dame, I have this like hunchback or the thoracic kyphosis, and that's really poor posture that might be even leading to forward head posture, and that kind of posturing is leading to pain at the end of the day. My little shrimp, basically. Oh my goodness, my little shrimpy posture. Yeah, that's one sign. The second sign is muscle banding or increased tone segments that are unstable. So this one is a little bit weird. I feel like this one needs a picture, so give me one moment. Muscle banding lower back? Hold on. I am not finding it. Why? It's really common to see it in the lower back. But all I'm seeing is people talk about like their back, like, ooh, get rid of back fat. And it's like, no. That's not what I need right now. And I'm seeing like actual bands. Oh my goodness, what if I put instability? Wait, what if I dig over here really quick? Let me look at my class notes really quick, okay? Because muscle banding is really interesting to look at least for me. It's just one of those things where it's like, you have low back pain? Yeah, you probably had this muscle banding. I'm like, oh brother. Tell me more. Tell me how you really feel. I don't remember what section it was in. I hope it was is it this? So where is it? Yeah, we know it's a posterior view. So muscle banding, you see this right here and here? At first I was like, I didn't really think much of it, you know? But apparently, according to my notes, let's see. Get rid of back and renal fat with one simple trick. Wow, look at this. Speaking of looking at this, an ad is gonna hit me. I'm so sorry, Cubs. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to stop this other than to be like, oh, 3-minute pee break. But anyway, look, let's see if I can make it in 30 seconds cool, and if I can't, I'm so sorry. But yeah, you can't stop the ads? I can't stop the ads. I have only one more snooze button. Maybe I'll use it. It's only snooze for 5 minutes. Anyway, so posterior view. So as we see the banding or the light discoloration in the back, and so that's what's gonna happen is that's kind of a sign of muscle imbalance, and that this horizontal muscle bulk appearing and standing but may disappear and laying down may indicate an underlying instability of the back, and that's just something to kind of look forward into more, to be like, oh, you have this? Oh, let's look at this and examine more, because you never want to pick with one thing and start running with it. So yeah, third sign of clinical instability is that there's a step present. So this is a little... explain it. A step is a step. You know, when you roll stairs, this is how you would do it, right? Now think of this as your spine. So, like, your spine is processes. Alright, again, like this. Maybe not like that, but... you have like your gently filled whatever, right? And then you have your little intervertebral disc that we talked about, right? So what happens with clinical instability is that they're saying it's a step, so you're palpating and you're trying to like feel for these. I don't know how to, yeah, sure, a hand. and you're pointing and you're feeling for these, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a spinous process, but then when you move your hand over here, you're like, oh, but your spinous process is here. But oh, your spinous process on top is also aligning with this one in the what do you call it? On the bottom here. Oh no, you have a step. Oh no. And this can be a variety of reasons of why you may have a step. I think one of the more common reasons, other than, hey, you might just have it because you were born that way, is a spondylolisthesis. And what that means is that it's a slippage of the spine. Now that sounds horrible. That sounds like, Tippa, I can have a slippage of the spine? So it gets a little more complicated than that. Hold on. Let's go find it really quick. Spondylosis versus spondylolisthesis. So, spondylosis is when you have a fraction, and it's what do you call it? It is a unilateral, so one-sided fraction of the pars articularis, which is just a structure in the lumbar spine. And what happens is that it just breaks. So you might have like a slight forwardness to it, but there's no actual like slippage. There's no step present. Spondylolisthesis, however, that is when you have a bilateral or both sides of the pars interarticular. That's when that breaks, and what happens is that, oh my gosh, both sides broke, nothing's holding it, bam, cut. And what happens is that the slippage occurs, and so there's like a degree of like 25, 50, 75, and as you can imagine, that affects your body pretty significantly. But yeah, imagine again feeling for your spinous processes, and it's like, oh, there's a little dip, and it's like, oh, it might be because of this. But again, you have to use other tests to confirm if this is it or not, especially if they don't have imaging to be like, oh yeah, it just breaks. I don't know, it just does. Drink your milk, gain some calcium, take your supplements. don't work too hard, but work hard enough. Things like that can fracture, but I feel like if I recall from the reading correctly, those kind of fractures don't occur unless you're hyperextending your back. Like I don't know, you're trying to do like a cool trick to your friends or something, and you're like, oh, I could walk on my hands and put my belly up and walk like this or something like that. Like I don't even know how to look up how to what do you call it, walk like that. But like I feel like crazy, but you know, like if some cub was like, hey, I'm gonna walk like this now. How do people walk like that? I don't know. This is what I'm talking about, and they like skitter scatter away. Don't do cool tricks, got it? Basically. Drink your bone juice? Basically. Anyway. I'm sorry, Cubs. The rad. But yeah, that's that. Here. I feel so bad. I don't want to force BRB either. This sucks. I never want to be conscious about ads ever again. Never ever. Anyway, let me just hope that doesn't play, because I do want to just finish this, because I just want to talk about this and one other thing, and then my internet can go die or something. Anyway, so that's a step, and that step is going to be present while palpating the spinous process. What is also going to potentially be a clinical sign of instability is that the step disappears when the patient is lying prone. So what happens is that your belly kind of pushes your spine to kind of realign, if that makes sense. So the step may not be present anymore because it was present while you're standing, but when you're laying, all you're like, I guess your tummy is kind of pushing your spine back, and so it's getting evened out. Like, oh, okay, cool, great, wonderful. But this is again not a telltale sign, because again, it could just be a structural thing. Again, you could just be born with one vertebrae a little bit smaller than the others. Another sign of instability is that if there's juddering or shaking with forward bending until the hips begin to move. So let's say that you what do you call it? You reach for your toes, basically, So when you reach for your toes and you're like, ah, all right, it's time to get back up again, you're having a really, really, really hard time getting back up. But once you get to about hip level, you're like, oh, I can do it, because you kind of like thrust your hips forward to make up for your back not, you know, being that great. In the same coin, basically, you're having difficulty returning to an upright position. So patients may tend to walk up using their hands from their body. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten stuck there and you're like, oh, I can't just drill myself up. So you start walking yourself up. Obviously, that could be for funsies, but a lot of older patients have to do that because they just can't. They just can't get up. There's hypermobility and the passive intervertebral mobility. Unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about that, but PIVM is passive intervertebral mobility. And this is just to assess like how stiff your muscles are. We'll talk about the chart and the grading system, but we won't really be talking about techniques today. I apologize. Oh my goodness, gamer. Hi Gummy. Hi, welcome on in. Thank you, I appreciate it. Big bearcat hugs to you. Sorry. Today I'm just like I don't know why. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just studying and I'm just cramming these last few things. Okay. So, hypermobility, and then, well, again, we'll look at the chart in just a little bit. And the last thing is just, you know, you can confirm the spondylolisthesis through imaging. So maybe you're like, hey, I'm having a feeling it could be this. Maybe you refer your physician back and you're like, hey, I think this person needs an imaging. The physician orders the imaging and bam, they get confirmed. Then it's like, oh cool, then everything I was doing up until, excuse me, now, and the observations I made, oh, this all makes sense now. Yay. Any off, Galmer? Take care. Asa, thank you so much for stopping by. Please take care. I love life and all that jazz, okay? Yeah. Motion segments, da-da-da-da, da-da-da. Here's the PIBM, by the way. It's on a scale of 0 to 6, 3 being normal, 0 being like, hey, you're stiff. You're like cemented together. This is not moving. To 6 of, hey, you're moving a little bit too much and you're hypermobile. You're actually unstable. Brother, what are you doing? Hi, welcome. Bearcat hugs you, welcome. Also on text, let's go. Welcome. Alright, is this the last thing I want to talk about? I feel like there's something else. No! Sorry, my document is so long. We talked about backwards bending. We talked about signs of instability. Is there anything else I'm like... okay. Let's wrap it up. And we'll actually talk about the 4 effects of manipulation. And if there's anything else that I'm missing, again, I have plenty of time to... I have plenty of time tomorrow after work to try to see if I can wrap it up and fill any gaps, and then we could talk about the rest of the week's schedule in just a little bit, but let's finish it up with this. So our last question for today is, what are the 4 effects of manipulation, and tell me everything you know about them. So there's another question that said the 5 effects, and I'm like, brother, it's one or the other. But number 1, psychological. So the 4 effects of manipulation, and manipulation is not like, I don't know, gaslight, girl, gatekeep, girl boss, I don't know. Not like that. We're not talking about any like psychological manipulation, but like physical manipulation in the sense of, you know, oh, I want this person to crack my back. Oh, I love to go to the chiropractor and blah 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 blah. That is manipulation. I don't think chiropractors manipulate though, but I could feel the PT gods staring at me. Anyway, but manipulation is a skillful movement of like cracking, you know? Oh my goodness. But yeah, so the 4 effects: psychological, neuropsychological, or sorry, neurophysiological, biomechanical, and neurochemical. So we'll talk about each of the principles here, and then we call it. You're not gonna like, oh no, gamer, if you have to look absolutely no hacking worries, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I do lecture styled streams when I'm in a panic and I'm like, CUBS, you need to hear the knowledge I've written down. And I also do a lot of pomodoro, but you're always welcome in. But thank you for unlocking me. You don't have to, don't worry, especially because this is the last one because my internet's hacking up. And we have anime night later tonight, so I gotta mentally prepare for that. Huh? Manipulate your patients like Machiavelli? What? Oh no, I don't get the weapons! I'm uncultured! Yeah, some of the things are very self-explanatory. So psychological, you know, not for anything. I know this sounds silly, but PTs get a really good rep because we talk to our patients and we physically contact them. And that establishes a bond or relationship for as whatever reason you could imagine. But no, but not like that. Saying it superficially like that kind of degrades the profession. It's the idea of like, hey, I am experienced enough with the human body to have a vague idea of what you're talking about. Let me see if I could locate your pain, or if I could even reproduce your pain. And obviously it's like, why do you want to reproduce my pain? It's the idea of like, hey, I know exactly what you're talking about. So when you're doing this kind of motion, this is hurting you? Yeah, that's exactly it. How did you know? It's like, oh, because it could possibly be X, Y, Z reasoning. And it's like, wow, you're so cool. So psychological aspect again is having that touch and interaction and pretty much meeting their expectation of the experience. Because really, when people come to see you, all they want to do is feel better. And so when you're getting to the source of the problem, hey, even better. They're like, oh, you actually know what you're doing? That's crazy. But yeah, having competent palpation skills, so making sure that you're right hands on with the patient's understanding, like, okay, I'm palpating this and the structure, and there's nothing abnormal about this, and you continue on. You're able to relieve their pain, so you're able to impact their pain complaints. You're able to provide the examination to reproduce pain, and you can offer the snap pop placebo, which we'll talk about in just a moment more with the last thing with the neurochemical stuff, you know? Huh? Rebel says we have to actively proceed Tippa. It's a quantum physics sort of deal. Yeah, sorry. If you're not watching, I don't exist. Don't you know? Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think this manipulation stuff, even though it's really textbooky, I think the last one is going to be very, like, you know, like, whoa, I didn't know that. And yeah, I can wrap it up on that, and I could be like a super cool bearcat. But yeah, so let's talk about the neurophysiological. So now we could go touch back on the topic of the gate control theory of pain. This again is going more into detail, so we'll just kind of read through it because it's kind of like, whatever, sure. So the spinal cord contains a neurological gate that's gonna block pain signals or allow them to pass on to the brain. So your spinal cord has a gate and it's like, yes pain, no pain, yes pain, no pain. So the gate is actually opened by pain signals traveling up small nerve fibers, or they could be closed by activity in the large fibers or by information from the brain. So what happens is that, hey, if we close the gate, if we block the pain signals of the small nerves before the signal reaches the pain, it limits the body's awareness of pain. It's not my strong suit to explain this, but open gate means pain information goes to brain. I say ouchie, I'm not happy, I'm in pain. Oh, we can find a way to trick the system. We could close the gate before the pain reaches. Pain reaches gate closed, no pain, happy patient. It's very silly about the human body. But yeah, what happens is that everything is going to be focused around pain. We don't want pain to be the main focus, because then there's like some weird psychological thing where it's like, well, if the patient's so focused on pain, they're never going to get better. But that's most likely the reason why they're there, so it has to be addressed in some capacity. We could bring back the biopsychosocial model, and that's going to be the whole treating the person holistically. It's about understanding them as an individual, what disorder they may have, and what mental influences that they may have, whether maybe they have a mental condition, or yes, such as like anxiety or depression. Maybe they have a particular like idea of what PT is supposed to be or how their treatment is, and like the expectations of the people around them. So it's that little like graph that we talked about like 2 weeks ago for another midterm. So yay, bringing it back. Centralization of pain, I don't necessarily understand fully, so I apologize, but it's going to relate to a process of individual pain moving from the peripheral or the outer locations to a more central location. And it's considered to be a favorable therapeutic effect. I don't understand it in a sense of, is it supposed to be because you move the pain to somewhere else that it's like yay yippee? But we'll see. But apparently this therapeutic effect is done with repetitive motions to help produce the centralization of pain, and that manipulation again of like moving the joints along can be used to decrease and centralize pain. Neuropsychological stuff also talks about type 3 mechanoreceptors. We didn't get the opportunity to talk about mechanoreceptors. I believe the first one is relating to posture. The second one is more dynamic, so maybe if you're slouching and your body recognizes that, those mechanical receptors go off. And the third one only goes off if you get thrust manipulation. So, you know, when someone does crack your back or twist you in a certain way in a more aggressive manner, that's when these type of mechanical receptors will go off. Alright, and then last two, let's go! Alright, so biomechanical. Biomechanical is going to be talking more about the body, about restoring restrictive connective tissue by stretching the restriction with the capsule to restore its ability to perform fiber gliding, elongation, or crimp. So this is talking about another thing we didn't get to talk about, I'm so sorry, about crimp, about the stress strain curve and all that jazz. The stress strain curve, maybe some of you cubs may be more familiar with it when it comes to maybe engineering or molding something. Like I feel like there's a stress strain curve for like steel, and like when does it break and blah 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 blah. Well, our body has a very similar thing. How do you think about like the ligament sprains and whatnot? It's important to try to stretch the restriction, because what happens is that we want to try to produce micro failures so it can kind of break that down. We never want to get into a macro failure, because macro failures tend to be like, again, a ligament sprain or a severe tear in something, and you don't want that to happen. But these tend to normally occur with, how do you say it, ligaments and tendons anyway, so teehee. But yeah, with the biomechanical stuff, it's about stretching or snapping the adhesions that you may have in the joint capsule. And then really the main goal is just to restore mobility and range of motion, because we talked about that question about how does arthrokinematics, how does the joints in the capsules affect the active range of motion. And it's the idea that, hey, the gliding, the moving, the rolling allows these gross motions to happen, or allows these big motions as flexion extension to happen. And then our last thing that we could talk about is neurochemical. So more research is needed, but there's an idea that there's an endorphins release or a natural painkiller when you have that crack. So that crack is actually called tribonucleation, and for the longest time I'm like, oh, it's this, and I think it's defined as like the gas or the air in the capsule, which is why you hear that loud pop. But the neurochemical idea is that when you pop, these endorphins release, and if you're familiar with endorphins, they are a natural painkiller, which is why some people get really addicted to like cracking their back or cracking their fingers or doing all this. I'm like, oh, I don't know about cracking fingers, cubs, because I remember there was like when I was a baby though, there was like a little article going around saying like, oh, if you crack your hands a lot, you'll get arthritis, and it's like, huh? What? No thank you, no thank you. But yeah, with that, cubs, I am all good to go in my book. I am, what do you call it? Most likely just gonna wrap it up, because we do have anime night starting in like an hour and a half. So, gamers, let's get to it. But yeah, I remember another kid telling me that in school. Yeah, so I got scared. So I was like, oh, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Cubs, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so sorry today was a little I promise I don't know. I don't know what I could promise. I hope you had a good time, but I'm so sorry that a lot of it just has to be education lately. So, So apologies, but we'll do our best to keep making it through the rest of the semester, chugging it along. We just finished midterms again, so hopefully things calm down a little bit. Smile emoji. Next month already. What, 6 weeks from now, I guess? Finals will happen, so we'll see how that goes. So look forward to more gaming in 6 weeks, but we'll try to even game later this week. But let's go in order. Let me not skip. So, Cubs, if you haven't joined already, feel free to join the Discord. On Tuesdays we have anime night, and Tuesdays today we're watching Haruhi Season Mia. We're watching in a Delicious in Dungeon. We're watching for the Elf anime, and we're also going to be watching Sign of Affection, which I'm so excited. Please definitely join us if you haven't grabbed the role. Heck, no worries. You can grab one in the Discord in the rules section. If you don't want the role, you're not interested in anime night, absolutely no hecking worries. I use the Discord to go ping when I go live, so if you ever want to catch more of me, I got you. You enjoy learning? I'm glad. Even if I stumble, I'm like, I can't speak, I'm a baby. I appreciate it. But yeah, with that, Twitter. So my schedule's gonna be changed. I didn't realize I was scheduled to work on Thursday, so I'm probably going to either still do the same setup and just push the stream to later. Unfortunately, I don't really have a set time, but I'll try to update it definitely on Wednesday, if not later tonight, to be like, hey Cubs, I'm changing the schedule. And we'll see how that goes. But I still haven't done any of my schoolwork this week, so I definitely still have to do that. So Thursday might be Pomodoro, but I really would love to squeeze in how do you say it, Tears of the Kingdom, because with Tears of the Kingdom, we're almost done. So maybe we could dedicate all of Friday to finish the game, but maybe later that Thursday, just maybe we can do some housekeeping. Maybe we could go to more temples and, you know, like baby stuff, like I'll have it mapped out or something, you know. So pause cross, but I'm so sorry, Cubs. But yeah, we'll keep you updated with that. I really do hope to finish Tears of the Kingdom this week. That would be like my big brain goal that I would be so excited to finish, you know. But only time will tell with that one. And also it depends on what kind of work I get done on Wednesday. So fingers crossed that everything just works out, okay? Lucky girl energy. Manifesting, let's go! But with that, feel free to check out the socials. So I have the YouTube, I have the TikToks, I have all the really cool stuff there. So I appreciate your support. I am going to run off, but we are going to be raiding someone. We're going to be raiding into someone called Kum. Brother, I'm dying at my mispronunciations right now. Cool. Boom. Cat. Their title literally says Fortnite and Elden Ring. What makes a better combo? Brother, they are a cub of my own heart, or a cat of my own heart. They play these. They're a gamer. They're such a gamer. So let's go ahead and go support them. Checking out Tears of the Kingdom would be a big one. It would be. So then we could finally play Yakuza, and then after Metal Gear, I could play Final Fantasy, and then after that, don't ask me, I didn't get that far. Oh my goodness. But please look forward to it, every cup. So sorry that all the gaming streams are taking 500 years, but I really appreciate your time, your patience, and your support. Thank you. But yeah, though I won't get to see you Cubs tomorrow, I'll update you Thursday with how the results of Wednesday goes, okay? Oh, technically it wouldn't even really matter because I wouldn't have the test until Wednesday at like 6:30, so I'll update you Cubs as soon as I can on Thursday once I get a estimated time of what we're doing, you know? And how Wednesday goes, so But yeah. Please be sure to grab a raid message. I'll catch you Cubs later. If I don't catch you tonight, heck, I'll catch you sometime this weekend. If I don't catch you sometime this week, heck, I will catch you much later. But not too later. I'll be sad, but not sad because I'll understand that you have a life. But like you know. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, I hit my water bottle. Bye.